Live tonight, Sun and oh no, we're not on air yet. Why hasn't it got there? Hey, we are live tonight on Sun and Moon. It is Thursday, the 14th of 2017. So far on the Hangout tonight, we have Patricia UK, obviously series from Hawaii, and we have Aaron from America. Tonight, because Aaron is going to explain to us his project. It's Project Lumen. Explain that in a minute. Just thought we'd play Stan Smith's 50-degree camera, and then after that we'll go to Aaron. Okay, guys?
Sounds good.
Is you going to play then? You're muted, series.
Love someone and not treat them in the way that you want. It's possible to see your eyes be the devil in disguise with another front end. It's possible to change this world, revolutionize the boys and girls. It's possible to educate the next generation, never rule the world someday now. It's possible to love someone and not treat them in the way that you want. It's possible to see your eyes be the devil in disguise with another front end. It's possible to change this world, revolutionize the boys and girls. It's possible to educate the next generation, never rule the world. Now the changing times of the 21st century means nothing to me, cause I would rather be at the beginning of time. Earth would be mine, living in luxury, discovering a world out there, believing in the sun, earth, water, and air. Take me there, so I can see the world bloom, standing on a sea, out of the moon. Creating a world for the open-minded, a unique perception of truth inside it. I know we can find it. It's just a matter of what and when we collectively decide it. The world is not a vicious place, it's just the way we've been raised, discovering time and space. I know that we can make our change, rearrange the way that we appreciate the world today. It's possible to love someone and not treat them in the way that you are. It's possible to see your eyes be the devil in disguise, but it's not the brother. It's possible to change this world, revolutionize the boys and girls. It's possible to educate the next generation, never rule the world. Someday, someday, as I start to put my mind into words, I stall, I fall, I'm losing it all. My inhibition, the thought of wasting away, the fact that the music's at a place not far away, yet I stray, stick to my word, in love with my life, I believe seven girl, but is it luck that I love this crazy place, the human race? Don't get me wrong, I still think we can change, but there's love, the fact that time exists, we're here, we don't come equipped with it all. Half the fun is learning, I'm having a ball, the world keeps turning, my ball is small, that I make it change. I hope you're feeling the same way. I can see what I say. Yeah, it's possible to love someone, not treat them in the way that you are. It's possible to see your eyes be the devil in disguise with another brother. It's possible to change this world, revolutionize the boys and girls. It's possible to educate the next generation, never rule the world. Someday, in this concrete jungle we live, our survival is love that we give. Now my instinct is guiding my way. It's true what they say, the world is your chance to create this concrete jungle we live. Our survival is love that we give. Now my instinct is got in my way. It's true what they say. My world is your chance to create. It's concrete jungle we live. Our survival is all that we get. Now my instinct is got in my way. It's true what they say. My world is your chance to create. It's concrete jungle we live. Our survival is all that we get. Now my instinct is got in my way. It's true what they say. My world is your chance to create. It's possible to love someone and not treat them in the way that you want. It's possible to see your eyes see the devil in disguise with another front. It's possible to change this world, revolutionize the boys and girls. It's possible to educate the next generation that will rule the world. Someday, it's possible to love someone and not treat them in the way you want. It's possible to see your eyes see the devil in disguise. It's possible to change this world, revolutionize the boys and girls. It's possible to educate the next generation that will rule the world. Thank you.
I think that's the end. Thank you so much for that, Stan. What do you think of that, guys? That's a 360-degree camera, and that's exactly how Stan sees it. From that point to that point, not going straight across the sky, it goes up and goes down.
Where was that at?
I'm not sure if some of it's other people's work, but a lot of it's his work in the Isle of Wight.
So yeah, it really makes you think about like see light and you know, like that light is circular and dome, like almost like our perception is dome like. That's why it kind of does that up and down motion, yeah?
Yeah. And as far as Stan can see, it's a rainbow effect up there. The sun, not the clouds, but the rest is a rainbow effect. It was on the panel quite a lot, but I've put that on. He said I could put it on, and so yeah, I just think his work's amazing. So thank you very much.
He's using a 360-degree camera. That's why he was able to just move it around, kind of.
As well, he's got the 360 goggles.
Oh wow, interesting. Oh, so he's like looking around and recording it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like a chameleon.
Everything is in your perspective.
Right.
It's just written in the chat room, and they're called New Perspective. Quite apt then, as I look down. Anyway, so thank you very much for that, Stan. I'm sure we'll be talking about that forever as we go on. But tonight we've come on to talk to Aaron about Project Lumen. Yours.
All right. Well, thank you. Thanks for having me on. So just a brief overview of Project Lumen, what I've been working on. Really most of my life, this has been my vision. And just in recent years, I've been really picking it up, and then just decided that, you know, this is what I'm doing. Is I'm really just launching this into the world, and so a brief overview of what it is. What is Project Lumen? Project Lumen is basically, well, you know what? I'll just read you the mission statement to start. Project Lumen is dedicated to directing the manifestation of a sovereign Earth nation that will use the highest application of technology, the transparent and open collaboration of its tribe, and our mutual observation of the world and natural law in order to guide ourselves into the realization of a truly free and open society. And you guys can see this if you want to go to projectlumen.org. I just put a little something up there. You can sign up. Anyone can sign up. Just you can email a name for right now, but there'll be a lot more coming in the near future.
Do you want to put the link in chat room, and I'll put it on the? You put it in our chat room, and I'll put it on the chat room for the Hangout if you want that.
Will do. There you go. So basically, the idea is to utilize different methodologies from different walks of life. You might say, like, I'm a software developer, so I'm bringing a lot of this from the software development side of things. And then there's components from project management and even business, as well as kind of nonprofit or altruistic initiatives. And I'm trying to bring this all together into a single organization that can represent the people, can be a collection of the people's voice, enabling the people to have a voice, and for us to be able to communicate with each other. And most importantly, we're focused around projects or initiatives that are really just geared to make the world a better place, to kind of revolutionize the to cause a revolution, for us all to be able to experience a world that we actually we enjoy, that is honest, that is fair, that is open and truly equal. So we are all equal beings of Earth, and we all know that, or many of us know that, most of us know that, but we are kind of lost in, well, we have these power structures that have come into being, and they've taken over, they've controlled the masses, and here we are. Here we find ourselves in a situation that is not great, and
No.
The main reason I would say that this has happened is because we've allowed it to happen, because we've kind of just sat by on the sidelines, watching this stuff happen. Yeah, a lot of it was in secret and was manipulative, so that we didn't really know it was happening, when it was happening, and now here we are, and we're starting to see that it has been happening, that we're in a position where it's just, things are out of control.
Hey, Aaron.
Yeah.
Aaron, yesterday we were watching a bit of information which FPV found, and they're definitely messing around with the water. They're manipulating things. We didn't ask for that, did we? We didn't ask for all that. There's a wave that goes through. There's a wave something. They're heating up the water.
Heating it up.
They're doing it athletically.
I just started uploading a new video that I'm going to put out there as soon as we're done here. And yeah, did you know that, like, you can manipulate water through vibration, and so that it doesn't, how like a water droplet hits a puddle of water and it'll bounce and then eventually coalesce and it connects with the rest of the water. But if you add vibration to that, it can actually stay in a water droplet form. And that's how they're manipulating the weather, is like through these vibrations that keep the water from coalescing until they turn off the vibration, and then we have this massive flooding.
Ah.
Check out this video I'm putting together.
Cool.
But
thank you for that, Lavana. But you see, this is what they're doing, and we didn't ask for these things, did we, Aaron?
No, we didn't. And now we need to ask for them to stop, essentially. We have so much evidence. I mean, our groups have compiled so much evidence against NASA and other space organizations, and really you could just say the cabal, the cabal that's kind of in charge right now, that's really screwing everything up. And we have so much evidence that it's like, what are we doing? Just sitting here doing nothing is one thing that I've been asking myself for years now, really. And I'm guilty of that, and we're all kind of guilty of that to some degree, because really, I mean, we've been waking up, we've been talking about things, but now I think it's time to take the action. And the question is then, well, what action do we take? And so that's where I come in with this project I've been working on for so long. Is I've got some solutions to a lot of these problems that we have, but also, more importantly, I have some methodologies that we can use to achieve our goals here. For example, NASA. You know, let's say that we wanted to ultimately put an end to NASA. We want NASA to, you know, put out a public apology, an explanation, first of all, what's been going on, why have they been lying to us, why have they been doing all these things. You know, it'd be nice to get an apology, but more importantly, we just needed to dismantle them.
I think we would love that, Aaron. We would love all that.
How about getting our money back?
And our money back, yeah. Yeah, I mean, of course, you know, they've been stealing probably the trillions from us. We all know space is fake. We all know that they haven't been going to space. They didn't land on the moon. All of that money was stolen from us, the taxpayers. And it's not just NASA. It's all the space organizations have been guilty of the same kind of behavior. And then they have all the info. You know, they were supposed to be the ones going to space and telling us what was up there, but obviously they haven't been. They've been feeding us lies. But we, especially this group here, we want to know what's up there. We want to know the information that they have. And so they really need to disclose their findings, their research, everything that's been top secret related to space exploration, or even the Earth itself and the map. And you know, I think this is all tied to Google and Google Earth and all the maps that we see, and you know, it's just all connected. So it's really, I think it's pretty obvious that they have a tremendous store of knowledge and information that they've been gathering for decades, that they just, you know, they haven't shown to anyone publicly because of their lies, and they're not going to just disclose themselves, or they're not going to out themselves on their lies, and so they're going to keep on perpetuating that lie as long as they can. So, and I would say that this, let's call it the exposition of NASA, that is one initiative that we can do. Project Lumen is about kind of the protocol of how do we go about doing these initiatives. It deals with things like open source. So everything that we come up with will be in the public domain, the public's eye. It will be open source, meaning that anyone can see it, and it will sort of always be visible by the public. And then
you mean being accountable?
Yes, accountable. That'll help us be accountable. That'll help to keep us accountable for the information we're putting out. You know, it's verifiable. We can have others come in at any time, verify, oh, that information is not correct, and we can gradually work a better, more accurate description of whatever it is, whatever the initiative is. Whether it's, if we're putting together a case against NASA, then we need to, you know, collect all that evidence. We need to put together an actual write-up, and we need to make sure that it's 100% accurate. And you know, we need to work together to do that, because one person can be responsible for that, and things might change. We might have new stuff that comes, and so it's going to be an ongoing project. And every project is ongoing. You know, so the whole notion of like the Constitution, for example, you know, they created the Constitution of the United States, and they act like, well, this is gold, this is eternal, you know, this is going to be the document for all ages to come. And of course, they have amendments, and really there shouldn't have been amendments if it was perfect in the beginning, but how could it have been? And so this is acknowledging that things are never perfect. We're always striving for perfection, but we're never going to get there. And that's just, you know, a certain amount of humility, where we say, all right, you know, we're always strive to get there, but we'll never accept it that we're there, because the moment we do, then we've sort of given up on evolution, on growth, on expansion, on becoming better and smarter and understanding more of what's going on here. And so that's one of the main.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I put 2 videos out on Sun and Moon today about that. One's about the docking side of things and how stupid they are. It all is, that side of it.
Mm-hmm.
I named her thing, and she was just like showing that they had cut the video every so many seconds, because they're in that plane. They can only do about 25 seconds in a go, so they've got to keep cutting it and cutting it and cutting it and cutting it And it probably takes them a week to make one of those videos.
Yeah.
Right.
One with the hair, you know, washing her hair and all the lights which come across. That's them cutting it, and it's just all that money wasted on that. All that money wasted on lying to us.
Yeah, and then even a lot of that money is probably used to create these geoengineering stations where they are manipulating the weather and creating the weather. I would imagine that that's the reason that NASA has had such low production value, is because they're obviously not putting these billions of dollars into film, and their technology and their techniques, they're putting it into other things because their hoaxes are horrible. It doesn't take anyone.
Yeah.
I mean, you just watch movies in general. Like if you watch movies from the 90s, right now you can see that it's all pretty bad CGI and special effects. Our eyes are sensitive enough now. We can see, oh yeah, that's fake. But when I look at NASA, I see fake. I see it looks like it was made in the 90s. And I think they're still even using a lot of those same technologies with like the rear projection, and so they're probably using some advanced things. But the point is that they're not using this budget for their films, and they're of course probably paying their scientists and the various people that are along for the ride, along for this lie. They're paying them, but then where's all the rest of that money go? Because they're not paying for rockets and rocket fuel that's actually going into space. And so they're going to cut corners on the actual rockets. They're just sending them out to the ocean. And so I think it's pretty reasonable that they're using it for really atrocious things, weather creation.
Well, they probably put it into HARP. They'll use it for the wars. They'll use it for anything they want.
Right.
Except what they said they were going to do with it. Because you're right, it's just NASA wood, isn't it? It's NASA Bollywood.
NASA wood, yeah. Yeah, and so I don't think there's any of us in this group, at least, that are kind of questioning these things. And so more of what I want to get into is how we can organize, our communications, our ideas, our efforts into actually manifesting some of these initiatives.
Aaron,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to make something clear or whatever. So are you talking about like a total overthrowing the government, or we need to figure out how to work within the given system to create our own self-governing community, if you will? So what is your ultimate goal there? Is it as far as
okay, so I definitely wouldn't say the goal is to overthrow the government, because that probably wouldn't be a good thing to advertise too much. At the same time, I would say that we are trying to create something here that is an alternative, acknowledging that the governments that are controlling these nations are not doing their jobs. They're lying to us. They're stealing from us. That's unacceptable behavior. So, and we're not going to be able to go against them with force. So what we need to do is create our own coalition, our own group, our own organized body that can represent the people, that can represent the truth. Because right now there's so much disinformation coming out, and they're plugging NASA in the mainstream so heavily, and all the movies with their space propaganda, and all of the people that are NASA lovers or SpaceX lovers, because this is the narrative that's just being sold or pushed upon them, and no one really knows how to think for themselves in the mainstream, and so they're just going to accept what they're fed. And then when someone stumbles upon, let's say, flat Earth, they'll probably go to YouTube or they'll go to Facebook and do a search. And nowadays, because Google owns YouTube, and because Facebook is also very shady, manipulative, they're going to feed it. You know, they're going to send those people to the places they want them to go to, where they're not going to find the real information. And so we need to be creating a location for people to go to, even a website, domain name that could house all of this information, and it's all very scrutinized, and we show all the scrutinizing of it so that there's no, because I have the same arguments posted to me every day, and I'm sure you all do as well. And how many times do I need to answer the same questions, or even just try to answer the same questions, and they'll come back at me with, just kind of unreasonable circular arguments. And if we had just a tool that was showing these truths, showing the collections of the best evidence, the best videos, the best, here's the patents, here's all the dirt on NASA, here's all the WikiLeaks on NASA, we have so much information, but it's not in one place, and it's not search engine optimized. It's not, we're not doing any marketing specifically with this kinds of information. And so when people do a search for "is the Earth flat," well, that's up to Google. They're leaving it up to, we're leaving it up to Google to tell them that it's not, and that it's, of course we all know it's a ball. We've known for 500 years. And that's the narrative that Google's pushing, and they're going to continue pushing it. And unless we can sort of outnumber them, essentially, and the way to do that is through using their same tactics. So we can use search engine optimization and marketing. We can, pay a little money in order to actually be getting our source out there. Let's say it's Project Lumen for now. So we'd be getting Project Lumen out there and really doing some marketing, getting some, getting in front of people, getting on the first page of Google for all these different search terms. And then when you get there, it's truth, it's verified. Here's all the links and all the references. Here's all of the sources. And then if you want to submit a link of one topic to a Facebook post or something, we'll set it up so that it's actually the proof is in the metadata. So that means that when you post it to the Facebook, it'll show a little thumbnail, and that thumbnail will be showing the actual proof itself. It'll be showing, and then little words will just show, here's what the person is trying to say. So they don't even have to go to the website. They can see the points, the argument right there. And then if they go to the website, they'll learn a lot more. But that is a technique that's it's doable. It's very doable. I know a lot about how to set all that up. I don't have like all of this data compiled yet. And so that's one initiative right there as well. Whether it's against NASA, all the evidence against NASA, or maybe it's all of the information regarding our model, our map, because ultimately we don't know what the map is. We don't know what the model is. We have a bunch of different theories that we're forming, we're working with, and we're discussing. And we have been working on this in various groups and clusters, and ideally we could all come together, start working on one place where we're putting, here's all the theories, so here's the pros and cons of each theory. What was that?
Is that because you realise like Facebook has had it almost, hasn't it? Facebook.
Yeah, I've had it with Facebook.
People like their personal profiles, but they've done something to the groups.
Yeah, they're manipulating a lot.
The groups are kind of designed almost to keep people separated, and like there's just so many groups, and like people are just spread out all over the place. Like it's almost like purposely made that way, just to keep us disorganized. We need one central place where we can all come together. Yeah, I think that's definitely a good idea.
Yeah, divide and conquer, distract. Distraction has been their primary tool against us, their weapon against us. And so with all the YouTube, and you just look at the structure of YouTube, you watch a video you're trying to do some research, and then they're just showing like, oh, the top 10 fails, it's just they're trying to get you to go down some random tangent rather than just stay as a focused researcher. So, I've kind of trained myself to not click on any of those random things. but most people aren't that way. And the same with Facebook. Yeah,
I suppose they were good to get us together, because we wouldn't have all met each other if it hadn't been for Facebook.
Right.
But in the
That's
last
true.
week, they've done something to Facebook. Yeah. They've done something to Flat Earth groups.
I mean, Facebook and YouTube are massive vehicles and tools that we can use. And that won't change. But what should change is that we shouldn't rely on them. And we shouldn't really be hanging out on them. I know we're hanging out on Google right now, but ultimately we do want to get away from that, because we don't want to be sort of feeding into their system. We don't want to be, Google is a centralized, very centralized company that looks like it was formed by the CIA. And so therefore, we have every reason to assume that it's corrupt and that it's manipulating all the information. Now, it's the primary source of all information on the internet right now. It has been for years, decades.
Did you see that I've sent it to me about the fact that when you put Facebook Messenger onto your phone, basically you're giving them full permission to have whole control over your phone. They can see everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your contacts, they take video of you, they record your voice, you give them permission to do all of that. I mean, yeah, all of this Google and Facebook Messenger, all of that is like, it's artificial intelligence. They collect information about you. They run it through these algorithms, and they give you like a score, and they send it to the NSA, and that's how they keep track of who you are and how big of a threat you are. Mm-hmm. Guaranteed.
Great.
Oh yeah. No, it's sick. It really is. It's just rampant. It's spread across the entire world. There isn't any country or there's no one that's really free from this. And it seems the worst in the U.S., but I don't know. I might be wrong. It just seems like really bad in the sense that everyone's just falling for it. Everyone has a high-def television that's just documenting every single thing they do or say. And that's all being run through, these processors that are doing word analysis, looking for keywords, and they're probably not just terrorist words. They're probably, does anyone mention flat Earth? And as soon as they do, they're on the flat Earth list. And they probably have tons of lists. I'm probably on most of them. But there is a way to solve this problem, and this solution is blockchain technologies. Blockchain is quickly rising in popularity. There used to be just Bitcoin, and Ethereum came out a few years ago, and then now there's like over 1,000 different coins. And really, that technology has been surfacing a lot because of these problems, because of our privacy security problems. There's a few technologies that are kind of being presented that could help with this, but that's really a big part of one of the big initiatives of Project Lumen, of what I've been doing.
Can I just say something, Aaron? I don't mean to interrupt you there, because I know you're in full flow, but Ceres has his own web page, and he agreed that he would make a messenger chat on there, which means he would only go to his server, which means no one would watch. And he was spreading it all over all our hangouts in our group, and nobody was interested. Right. So, yeah, because I mean, I've tried things like that before too. Alternative if you want. So you stay on Facebook, do whatever you want, go on YouTube, we all do our own thing, but you could actually go and then have this messenger chat and be completely off the radar. And it was the same sort of thing, Ceres. You'd have your comments, nothing would be changed. I think it would be what that person said, just like you were saying, but nobody was interested. Were they, Ceres?
I can even build my own hangout. So far,
that's the thing.
We've managed actually to get all the needed modules, etc. for Perl. It's a question of actually building the idea, having time to do it.
Right.
But
I think it's going to be
available to do it. So yeah.
I think it's going to be hard to get people like away from Facebook. Everybody's so addicted to Facebook, and that's kind of the way they want it to be, because it's just, that's what we're used to. That's where everybody is. Yeah, it is going to be kind of hard.
Yeah, I mean, think about MySpace.
Yeah, it's the art of adaptation, art of adapting in the sense that you can get out of a routine and actually create one, because it's necessary in this.
Yeah, it is necessary. You know, I think about MySpace and how it didn't take much time at all for everyone to just move from MySpace to Facebook. And the reason was because Facebook was a better social network. But Facebook is a horrible social network as far as social networks go. And so the main thing we'd have to do is just create a better solution. And then, you know, it's pretty easy to just set it up so people can sign in with their Facebook account. Now we've got those accounts. If we could even stream in a lot of the stuff from Facebook, so we could bring in groups, posts, and comments from Facebook into our own social network in the beginning to sort of seed it and kind of give people familiar, you know,
Facebook alternative.
Yeah, basically, and this isn't like the most imperative or highest priority initiative, because
can I just say something? They do it in a certain way, Aaron. What they do is you've got like eBay. eBay, I don't know right now, but eBay owned PayPal, and they were actually nearly bought Facebook. And then these great big companies who, like eBay, have bought out all the other companies. Like there was Yahoo, they had the same sort of thing. They buy out all those. Then eBay becomes the biggest one. Then they put their call centers in the Philippines, miles away from anybody. And it takes responsibility away from them because so far it just goes on like that. And this is what they do. They just probably like Facebook is an amalgamation of something else and somebody else. One person owns it.
Right. Oh yeah. And so they'd be tough to go up against. And so I'm not even really suggesting that we think that way, because we don't need to. We don't need everybody from Facebook. You know, there's billions of people on Facebook. We don't need them all. We only really need like 50 to 100 people. You know.
Right.
You know, if we were to just like bring over some of the most powerful of the researchers from Facebook and from Twitter and from YouTube, bring them onto one platform, that's going to bring all the important people, see? And we just need to make it attractive enough for them. And I think the way to do that is to make it organized, because that's the biggest problem with Facebook is it's completely unorganized. It's really hard to find anything that you posted before, or if we want to try to like gather documents and put things together, I mean, it's just impossible on Facebook. It's not built for that.
Stan Smith, the guy with the video, he says he's in.
Awesome.
All right.
Hi, Stan.
Sweet.
And so, you know, and this is just like, this would be a platform for which to launch these initiatives, to make these initiatives happen. One of those can be the truths about, you know, our cosmological model, our map. But that's just one. Going up against NASA, that's another one. You know, maybe we want to go up against the Fed. I know I do. You know, let's end these organizations that are completely corrupt. They're not even federal. They are private organizations that have been passing themselves off as federal, lying to the people, stealing from the people, putting the people in a slavery state when they're not even the federal government. How are we even allowing them to do that? Well, they snuck in, they tricked us, they got away with it, but now we know. So now it's time to do something about it. Now it's time to just really break the spell.
I wasn't sure whether they were going to use these hurricanes, Aaron, because if there was a great big catastrophe in America, then the National Guard would be sent in, and then they've got what they want. They've got the soldiers in there.
Right.
Last weekend, this would be the start of it, of you know, them with soldiers everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, they've got FEMA camps that they've built all across the U.S. I mean, that's what I think this weather manipulation is really about. They're trying to create the the event so that they can round everybody up and put all the political dissidents in these camps and keep the revolution from happening. We
Right.
need to figure out a way to get away from their systems that they use to keep track of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's why we need to implement systems of privacy, to secure our privacy and to be able to work on these projects without prying eyes. And then we also need to form this organized body, this vehicle that can stand up and do this for us all. You know, there's a lot of enemies, we might say, but ultimately, I do believe that if we just kind of hit a good big domino, everything else will fall. And it'll be just kind of like everyone will jump on board with this revolution, and everybody will, and all these systems or all these lies and deceptions will start really coming to the surface, where the majority of people are starting to be aware that NASA has been perpetrating geoengineering against its own people. That's pretty important information to get out there. And once it really gets out there to the mainstream, I really don't see how we would continue to just do nothing. And I don't intend to do nothing anymore. And that's why I'm even doing this right now. Is I'm saying let's just choose this. You know, Project Lumen. Let's just focus on that as our main vehicle. I will drive it. I'll put everything. I'll update, do all that, and there'll be many initiatives underneath it. So we could even say like Sun and Moon Group is an initiative. We could say this is the initiative to understand what is our model of our cosmology, you know. But now we're united. Now we're working on the same collective project. Some people are really interested in the model, so you know they can focus on that. But then also, you know, disillusion of NASA. That's another initiative. Some people will be really passionate about that, you know. But let's put it all under one umbrella. So now we're all focused. If this becomes a social network, we're now all on this central hub that we can use to communicate, to organize, because you know we need to have projects, sub-projects, tasks, and then those tasks need to be delegated or assigned, or you know people need to volunteer and say, I'll do that, I'll focus on that, and we need to have little teams working on little things. You know, this is a whole massive project management initiative that we can, and if we move it this way, if we drive it this way, we will succeed, because I don't plan on stopping until it's done. And you know that might be when I'm 120 years old, but that's fine. You know, I'm not going to stop. And so, you know, I want everyone to know that about me and my commitment to this vision, and I want that to help bring people into it to say, okay, this is the thing that I can focus on. This is the thing that we can all come together on, because we just need to make a choice. It's like, you know, we can name it anything. I'm just saying, let's just name it this and let's move on with it. You know, let's all, like, it doesn't matter like specific names or specific organizations. One problem with this that maybe some people are thinking is like, well, Aaron, I don't know Aaron, and I don't know, maybe he's, you know, he seems trustworthy, but maybe he isn't, maybe he isn't. And you know, that's a challenge that actually has a solution, and it's something called a decentralized autonomous organization. And this is a new blockchain technology or concept that's been used in various ways. The basic idea is that it creates a decentralized organization that doesn't have a central leader and is run by more of a circle or a committee that makes decisions, and you know, we all have to come to agreements, and a lot of these are based on unanimous agreements. And so we would be saying, all right, we're only going to make a decision and move forward if we could all come to a unanimous decision and agree on it. And this way, then, even if I was out of the picture, it could still continue. And it could continue even if all of us are out of the picture, because it could just be a generational, you know, we just keep it moving. And in this way, we are creating our own governance. We're creating our own system that we can use to, at least we're governing our own little group in the beginning. But that can expand to where we are, we're governing the entire world. because this system is scalable. It could start with just 3 people, and it could expand to billions of people. There's no reason why it couldn't. And so therefore, I'm saying let's do that. Let's just start here, where we're at now.
I think with the NASA thing, if you take, if NASA stops, because we were a ball.
A revolt?
A ball. And what it was is that artist on the panel, he found some newspaper articles that in the 1900s, they'd only just started, it was still a ball, you'll go to prison. So they're lying about even how long ago it was that they turned us into a ball.
Oh yeah, no, I put that down. Yeah, and you know, that's something that I've been sort of theorizing for a little while, is that, you know, the ball theory, or even to say the heliocentric theory being taught as fact in school, has only been around since the early 1900s or late 1800s. And you know, that's just kind of something I've come to based on articles like that, as well as just if you really look at the authors of that time and what people were saying that we can look at. You know, yeah, and the religious beliefs of most faiths would be that the Earth is flat and motionless, and so for someone to come along and say that we're on a spinning ball would be blasphemy. And that would have been the case until people became less religious and more scientific, which was the early 1900s.
60. Well, yeah, okay. I was going to say definitely the 60s, because that's when they took us to space and they said, oh, look, we are a ball.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was the first time we ever had any validation one way or another, besides Michelson Morley in the late 1800s. But yeah, I mean, to actually suggest that, oh, here's what the Earth looks like from afar, 69 was the first time we had any evidence of that. And, you know, now we know that that was faked. We know that NASA is fake. And so that means that is completely invalid. So there's really no reason to assume that the Earth has ever been widely accepted as a ball, except in the last number of decades.
Yeah, not before the invention of television, right? Put it on the TV and everybody believes it.
Yeah.
And I hear what you're saying, Karen, about like how we attack, you know, we go up against NASA, and that could be the domino. I think that's very possible. It also might just fizzle, you know, and we might not be able to do much with it because it's such a powerful force, so big. So many people are asleep to this.
It's got everything in it, hasn't it? It's got HARP in it. It's got the wars in it. It's got nearly every country in it.
Yeah.
That would be bringing. I just can't see how governments could survive after NASA's declared as a liar. I mean,
yeah, that would be pretty huge.
Well, and how would we declare them as a liar? I mean, we obviously know they are, and we have large body of evidence. You know, I have had the thought of the petition to the White House to say we put all this whole body of evidence together, make a case. We use some of this project management, some of this marketing, SEO, search engine optimization, all this to actually get the 100,000 petition signatures within 30 days. And then we would have a petition going to the White House incriminating NASA, and here's all the body of evidence. They can't really deny it. They have to make an announcement about it, because if we get the 100,000 signatures, they have to. That's their whole agreement. But then what? You know, they announce it, and then they're going to get trolled, and we're going to get trolled. I mean, you know, what's really going to come of it? Like, do we really believe that like Trump is going to do something about it, or that the White House would do something about it, or any of the branches would really do anything about it?
We don't believe any of them anymore. We don't believe them anymore. None of them.
Any of them. So maybe that's not the solution. Maybe there's some other solution to take down NASA. And part of what I think is just, let's create an alternative. You know, in a way.
I don't want to say too much about this, but I mean, look what they've done to us over 9/11.
Right. Yeah, I mean 9/11, and I mean so many atrocities. We could go on for
Yeah,
quite a while.
everything actually.
Yeah,
Everything's a lie.
yeah, and if we say that the CIA is NASA, or which obviously it is, and then CIA is Google, then where are we free from that? You know, where does
Yeah.
that not influence our life? Where has that not influenced our lives? So it is everything. It's all encompassing, and I agree. I think we're on agreement that this needs to be done. But how do we do it? I guess is what I'm putting out to this group, is just to have, a little. Anyone has any ideas besides the petition? I mean, can anyone think of anything else that might be an effective strategy?
Okay, Aaron, you put that out in the chat room. So Aaron is looking for ideas. Does anybody in the chat room have any ideas? So just take a couple of seconds for that to catch up.
So one of the biggest things, though, definitely is, like ending the Federal Reserve. I mean, we're so, oppressed by the whole fiat currency system. And you were talking about blockchain. So, that could be part of, I mean, obviously that's part of the initiative, is trying to create a way to outside of that system, right?
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people are unsure about cryptocurrency, and they think that it is, it was designed by the CIA or something to be the new world currency in order to enslave us. But maybe you can go into that a little bit.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Maybe, yeah, we have to find the alternatives now. Maybe it's not trying to face them with the same crap. It's finding alternative ways to do this, alternative money, alternative.
What was the original purpose of NASA? It was to explore space, right? Well, we're doing that with this kind of group here. This is happening with just zetetic research. That's happening, and more we're getting closer and closer, I'd say, to a more accurate model and map. And these are the kinds of things that, okay, so Google Earth is giving us the map, NASA is giving us the model, right, of astronomy, and so let's create the alternatives. Let's form a coalition to actually figure out what's the real map, what's the real model. There's been groups that are talking about wanting to go to the North Pole or to Antarctica, explore what's actually down there. I think that is an alternative to NASA. We're not saying, okay, NASA, we're shutting down NASA. Instead, we're just going ahead and doing the thing that we wanted in the first place, which was the information, the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding of what's actually going on here. And then as far as blockchain, as far as money, okay, the place where things went south was the central banks. 1913, they created the Federal Reserve, but there were already some central banks before that dominating a lot of the world, and that's been even time immemorial of royalty and having their central system of money, and usually that involved paying taxes to the king or queen. And we don't agree with any of that, right? So let's create a system of currency that would be an alternative, that would enable us to make taxes completely illegal. Never will taxes be allowed. Corruption will be, not only it will be not allowed, it'll be corruption proof. That's what the beauty of blockchain is. It allows things to be corruption proof. And so that you can't corrupt it. You can't come in there and just create the money that you want to create, deflating the value of the dollar, and then base it all on petroleum, for example, which is what's been done. That's where we're at right now, and that's why the Fed needs to end. Sure, obviously, but I think if we create a real viable alternative. We don't need to end the Fed. The Fed will just end. It'll just kind of dissipate. And I think the same is true with NASA. I think as we have so much evidence against NASA on a criminal level, but then we have all the evidence to show the Earth is flat and motionless, and here's the real scientific data. and experiments. You know, like we could actually raise some funds, actually buy an interferometer, and perform the Michelson-Morley experiment again, and show it all on YouTube, and put all the data available on the website. And you know, this hasn't really been done by a flat earther for maybe 100 years.
Right.
And so, you know, us doing that would be an alternative to just going directly up against NASA. But we're creating a body of knowledge, a body of work that now the masses could start turning to and start looking at, start researching, and realize, oh, they have been lied to. Here's all the evidence of it. I can't really deny it now because I've seen all of this stuff. And then helping, you know, to create the new science. Basically, that's what this is a new science where we're kind of starting from scratch, not making any assumptions.
The people, it's after all that money they've thrown around, the billions and trillions, it's the people doing this at ground level.
Right. It always has been. The engineers, the scientists were always just the people. You know, it was the main highest up Freemasons, whatnot, that are the actual astronauts, the actual liars, the ones who are pulling the strings, who even knows who they are. But those weren't the people, correct? Those are some really nasty people that, you know, we prefer to kind of be behind bars. And then the ones who have been doing the hard work, the ones that worked at NASA that believed that they were doing legitimate research and that, you know, we're exploring the final frontier, that's, you know, they're still very valuable, extremely valuable, maybe even more valuable once they realize that there's a greater science. Because for me, you know, science, I've always been into science, but I also felt like for a long time that it had sort of this less than fulfilling air to it, where it's just, I would look into things and it never really did it for me, which is why I started looking into you know, meditation and metaphysics and yoga and these various other practices where I'm exploring my own mind and consciousness. And that started becoming exciting, you know. It was fulfilling, and I had an intrinsic natural passion that has driven me on this exploration. But now that I've discovered the flat Earth, it's kind of come full circle, where now my understanding of science is again renewed. My passion for science is renewed. I get to discover everything over again because we've made all these assumptions, and those assumptions are what made it boring. But now we're not making assumptions. Instead, we're just making pure observations, and this allows us to start over and really just be honest with ourselves about what we're discovering, what we're observing, and what does that tell us, using our critical thinking and discernment, and always being willing to say, okay, it's not perfect. The model will never be perfect. We can make the model better. We can get closer. Here's more. Oh, here's some additional evidence that now we need to take into account, and we just keep on going in that way. And eventually we'll get real close, where to the point where the educational systems could actually be teaching these things, but it'll be teaching it from this perspective, because we never want to get lost again in this trap. Go ahead.
Initiative right there is overhauling the whole education system, right?
Mm-hmm.
Big time.
Big time, yeah.
Oh, I hate when people say, I've been, like, one Globe the other day said to me, I've been well educated. Like,
oh, yeah, right, of course.
the wrong way.
That's your
We're
problem.
having to re-educate ourselves all over again.
Right. Right, which, you know, you kind of, sometimes it's
There's a few comments.
But I mean, it's like it's a new opportunity, and I think the thing is, we need to learn to be, as a culture, as a world culture, we need to learn to be in a state constantly where we're always open that we're wrong. We're always open to the idea that we've been wrong about something, and so therefore we're always willing to, like, challenge ourselves, because that was the original concept of science. Is you're supposed to challenge science. Science isn't science if it's not challenged, and every scientist should know that already. They should, you know, this is what we were taught about science and how it works and the scientific method. So to assume that we all came from a Big Bang, for example, is completely it's a complete assumption, and it's also completely untestable. And actually, a good theory, a real theory, a scientific theory, is it's falsifiable, which means it's testable. And if it's not testable, if it's not falsifiable, then it's not a theory. It's not a valid theory. It's just a philosophical idea, but it's not a scientific theory. So then, where did they even start teaching that in schools as fact? You know, and that's where we kind of got off track. And so what we need to do is we need to like bring ourselves back to the point where we just don't know anything. You know, I think every flat earther goes through that phase. I've just, you know, I've looked at everything I've seen, everything I thought I knew is now being shown to me that it's wrong, and so now I need to start from scratch, and it's a challenging thing at first, but honestly, I'm starting to love it. I'm starting to love being in this place of not knowing.
Feel like you're doing something.
Doing something, growing constantly. I'm learning more. You know, and even like, you know, a lot of this has to do with ego. It's like the ego wants to assume that we know everything or that we're always right. And so by letting go of the ego, I'm actually liberating my own mind. And, you know, I have to constantly do that. It's not like, oh, I let go of my ego and now I'm done. You know, because my ego is still there. It's always going to try to like come back. And so I'm constantly having to sort of keep it in check and be honest with myself. Really, I think it all comes down to self-honesty. And if we're all honest with ourselves uniquely and individually, and then we come together as a group, as a collective, and we're honest with the collective, and we're all just honest, we're all transparent, we're all an open book, on the same page, seeing eye to eye, I think that is the solution to all of these problems.
Yeah, it totally comes down to ego. Like the whole education system, you know, builds up these people where they get attached to their education to the point where, you know, anything that's, you know, challenges that identity based on what they've learned, you know, they're going to resist it, and it's totally ego. It definitely is.
Yeah, and
can I just say that a few comments, Aaron, in the chat room?
Uh-huh.
Denmark says that I've picked up from the chat room.
Okay.
Says can't be controlled by the government. Private monetaries is a good idea. Time, make textbooks accountable to give accurate. Marilyn says NASA must be the biggest central money laundering scam. So that's just a few of the comments I've picked up so far.
Right.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
I don't think we want to be ruled the same.
Ruled?
That's something with.
I don't think we want to be ruled at all.
Right, that's the idea.
Yeah, and, you know, we want to be governing ourselves, and there's no rulers.
Exactly.
Absolutely no rulers.
Yeah.
It's total anarchy. Great.
I know what it was is maybe when you grew up that's a bad thing, and now as we've grown up, anarchy's a good thing.
Yeah, well, maybe they taught us that anarchy was a bad thing.
All it really means is without rulers or without rules.
Yeah, I mean, and I think part of how we can do that, overall big picture, and this might be jumping a few steps, but basically our group establishing some bylaws that could, again, they're always going to be moldable and adaptable to the changing times, to our changing perspectives, to our conversations and discussions that just open our minds collectively. But we do need a set of bylaws that ultimately we operate on. And that's different than the rules. And most importantly, it's different in that it will be constantly changing. It will be based on, I would say, natural law or law of the land, where, you know, we're all just respecting each other. No one has power over, everyone is equal. No one has power over another. No one has, like, you know, there's no intrinsic right to land or something, or to property.
Work, isn't it? Is if we do this together, like you're in Sun and Moon on Facebook, but you know, you've been doing your own things, but we come together, like we're helping each other now. It only happens if we come together and do some of this together. And it's nothing to do with controlling, because you wouldn't be here if we were controlling, and it's just, it's just so annoying that when you wake up and realise what's actually happened.
Oh yeah.
Just the whole.
That's the thing. I think everybody frustrated and they want to do something about it, but everybody is kind of waiting for everybody else to do something, and so it's like it's time to do it. And somebody's got to stand up. Let's get it started.
Yeah, and I'm standing up right now actually because I'm ready to go.
Right.
This is
Right on.
the time for me, and I'm inviting everyone to be a part of this. And like I said, it's not my show. It's just that I'm absolutely I'm moving forward. I'm like Forrest Gump. I'm just running. And everyone's invited to run with me, and we will run straight to NASA and shut them down. We'll run straight to the Fed and shut them down. And it's going to take however long it takes. And we're not going to do it by force. We're going to do it by creating smarter, better alternatives. And we will put a little pressure on, because I think we need to. We need to put some pressure on. We need to really turn the heat up so they start boiling in their pot and really start getting wigged out. Because I even see, this is a thought I've had, is maybe one way to do this is to acknowledge, they're corrupt. They're all corrupt. We can't go through their channels. So what we do instead is we give them an ultimatum. We say, all right, if you come out, if you are willing to actually share this information, if you're willing to come out with an explanation, an apology, a refund, then we'll take it easy on you in the long run, basically, because that could be an expedient process, because they know that their days are numbered. They know their days are numbered. They know that we're waking up. They know that we're starting to unite, and it's just a matter of time before there's going to be pitchforks and torches coming to their door. And honestly, I don't really want to see that happen. I don't want to see the pitchforks and torches. What I would
we're in a movie.
What's that?
It's like we're in a movie anyway.
Well, we sort of are.
Action, it's just like.
It is. It is a movie.
Yeah, it's a film that we get to
start.
create ourselves. And so here's the part of the movie where we overthrow the elite cabal force.
Cut!
Cut?
Cut, you've gone cut!
And that's a wrap.
Right. And that's a wrap.
Definite wrap on the globe.
Yeah. The globe has been cut for sure. All scenes.
New script.
What?
Script. We want the new script.
Right.
Right.
We have some changes to make. And it really is, we're joking around, but I actually do see it kind of like that. I mean, and they see it like that too, We understand that the Freemasons actually are taught this, and the Illuminati, who knows, but they're aware that this is a game. And that's part of what they do. They're doing this as a game. They know this is a game, and they're playing their role in the game to a certain degree. And we're seeing it as life and death. We see it as serious. Oh, this is serious. This is a serious issue. All the things they've done and all the ways they've lied. We're seeing it as this is a really serious issue. But they see it as a game. And I think we benefit if we saw it more as a game. And instead of seeing it as so serious, we just play the game as well. And everything's rigged in our favor, so we're going to win this game. And so it's not a question. It's more of just how long is it going to take us to really wake up and realize this is a game that we're playing, and all we have to do is come together and say, hey, you can't do this to us anymore. We won't stand for it. We won't allow you to lie and steal from us and kill us anymore. It's time that that people who have committed these crimes against humanity are tried and actually have a sort of hearing and trial that we determine, we get to the bottom of it. But at the same time, what's most immediately important is that we need to be acknowledged at some point, because that's probably that's the domino. is the acknowledgement. Because the moment we're acknowledged, then I think, yeah, everything's going to fall. And maybe the way to get them to acknowledge is to give them this ultimatum. Is to say, all right, if you surrender now, we'll take it easy on you. You know, but if we have to spend the next 100 years fighting this battle, losing so many soldiers along the way, then we're not going to be incentivized to take it easy. You know, and whatever that means, I don't even know. But it means that that's our intention. That's our stance that we can hold. That I'm affirming right now, and you know, we could all get behind this stance that we want them to just come out with this. And you know, this is a message to Neil deGrasse Tyson. This is a message to NASA itself. You know, come out with the truth. We all know you've been lying, and do it sooner rather than later. That'll be to your benefit. But the longer you put it off, the harder it's going to be in the end.
Yeah, because we don't want our children taught all this anymore. Because it's all a load of... I made a video about it. When they're doing this, they're taking our freedom away all the time. And making a reality that doesn't exist.
Right.
Space doesn't exist like they told us. Taking your freedom away all the time.
Right.
You know,
sorry guys, but I have to be somewhere in a few minutes, so I've got to go. But I wanted to say thank you for having me, and Aaron, I love your tenacity, and I'm really happy to be a part of this. And I know we can do it. We just need to take, you know, action and just stay motivated and positive, and yeah. It's gonna be awesome. Totally.
well,
But,
Aaron,
yeah, so
you've got number one then. You've got your first one.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
definitely on board all the way. You know that.
I know that.
Yes.
But yeah, so
I want to
we'll do
come
another
back and give
hangout
you a
soon.
hug, but my broadband is just going so slow here at the moment. I don't know if you can see the screen moving around slowly. It's not me. It's just lagging a bit tonight. I'm giving you a hug, Lavana.
Hug. Okay. Very nice. Thank you. All right.
Can't see it,
Yeah,
but
you
I
guys
am.
have a good day. Carry on.
All right.
Aloha.
Bye.
Bye, Lavana. Great to see you. Right, Aaron. Aaron, I just let me just. What did I put it in? I've put what you put in the chat room here.
Mm-hmm.
I've put it in Project Lumen. I've put it in the chat. I'll do it again. So explain how people can get in touch with you then.
Well, the easiest way is just go there, projectlumen.org, and sign up at the very bottom. Put in your name and email, and that's just, you know, getting you on a list for right now. So that then once I start coming out with more things on that website, then people can, I'll send out notifications or newsletter kind of thing to everyone that's on that list. And, you know, I'm planning on being quite aggressive with the building of these various things. I mean, I've been working on this stuff for years already, so I'm not starting from scratch. I'm really, but I still do have a lot of work to do. So, you know, I'll be pushing him.
Aaron, we've got Mark Sargent in the chat room, and he just says he's saying hi to everybody and great unstoppable FE community.
Awesome. Hi, Mark. Good to have you.
Sorry. Carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, and that also kind of brings me to some of these coins, some of these ideas of like the blockchain and the currency. You know, I've actually already created some coins, and I've created some. I already have some of these initiatives started to be able to help drive some of this, and I'll be putting all of this onto that Project Lumen site. But basically, I've created the Flat Earth coin, which I will give Flat Earth coin to anyone who asks for it at this point. Hopefully, I'll get some some interest with that. But yeah, anyone who wants flat Earth coin, I'll give you a pretty hefty amount of it. So just hit me up. I guess maybe we could put my contact on Facebook too, if anyone's not connected with me on Facebook. But that's probably the easiest way to get a hold of me. Especially if you're really serious, you can we can have discussions. Just reach out to me on Facebook. Can you, Karen? I'll write some of this out here. Can you put that in the chat as well?
Yeah, sure. You can always come back here onto Sun and Moon and talk about it.
Right. Yeah. But if anyone, just like later on, this week or whatever. So that's my name. If you put it on the chat, and then
I've just put out your projectlumen.org. I've just done it again.
Okay. And then we got Siri's asking me about where you can get this. So there's a blockchain technology called Waves. So if you go to wavesplatform.com, I believe is what it is. Let me make sure. Yep. And now this is a wallet. It's good. It's a few more things than just a wallet. It's got an exchange built into it, but if you just get this wallet, you can get it through through Chrome, through Google Chrome. It just kind of plugs into it. It's pretty simple. You just go to wavesplatform.com. You go to Get Client. You install that Chrome extension, and now you have a Waves wallet, and then you'll have an address. And then I can send you, once you send me your address, I can send you some flat Earth coin. So that's one.
Waves.
Waves. Yeah. What?
.com.
Wavesplatform.com. Here, let me write it out here.
To say that Sirius was saying that his housemate is building his own crypto coin.
Yeah, and this is kind of just an initial token or a way to like start working with this. This is not an actual coin that I've built. It's just it's kind of like this will be transferable into a final coin. And I've also created two others. I've created the Zeta coin, which the idea real quickly with that is that it would reward people for doing research, for validating things, for ultimately discerning greater degrees of truth across various things. I have another website that is one of the initiatives of Project Lumen called Zetetic Reality. That's zeteticreality.org. And I'll have all of this up on Project Lumen, so ultimately it'll just be one stop. You can go there and find all this information. And I'll have all that up by tonight. And then the last one, which is really the main project that I'm working on, is called Iron Coin. Iron, because iron is Fe. But it's not just flat Earth, so I wanted to kind of sneak it in there. But this is actually my solution. I've been working on this for a number of years as an idea, and now I'm starting to actually develop the code for it. And the basic idea is that it would be a currency that would have an enclosed market, a closed economy, where you wouldn't be able to trade in or out of it, but instead you would only be able to use products and services to trade. And so in that way, it's more like what's called a LETS, or a local exchange trading system. And in that way now, there's no taxes. You can't tax it. There's no, you don't trade it. So there's no like gain or capital gain from trading. It would be purely for transaction, which is the whole point of a currency. And one of the big problems that I've recognized with our current economy is that you can make money from money. And that shouldn't be possible. That's a violation of the natural laws that we observe. And so instead, it should just be purely for transaction. And that way, you're not able to. I mean, that's where all the corruption has come from, is these people who have figured out these little gimmicky ways to make money from money. And so now, instead of just transacting purely for the sake of, oh, I have something of value, and then you have something of value, and we can trade that, it's become, well, I can just, write this computer program that's going to make me all this money while I sleep. Well, that's not fair. And people have been doing this for quite a while. So, and it looks like we just got our first wave address. So thank you, Series. And I'll be sending you your flat Earth coin right now.
Yeah, I'm going to have to sign up to that in a minute as well.
So these projects are I'm working actually with Wakey Wakey, Mark Knight. I've been talking to him about, because he's been working with Ethereum for a while as well, and so we've been talking about putting something together, and I'm hoping that he'll be into these ideas. Let's see here, transfer. And I've got a few other people that I've been talking to, working on these projects, a few other developers, but ultimately.
Didn't you have a camera crew with you as well?
What's that?
Didn't you have a camera crew with you as well?
I do have a camera crew with me.
Tell us a little bit about that.
All right. Well, these guys have been following me around in the last, few months. Just kind of, they're shooting a feature-length documentary that is hopefully going to make it to Netflix. And it started out, I think, as mostly flat Earth. But now it's kind of evolving into who knows what. We'll see. We've done quite a few things. We went to Kansas City for the eclipse, and we saw some of that. But then we also had an amazing tour of this building that is called the Power and Light Building in downtown Kansas City. It was built in the 1930s, and it's absolutely a Freemasonic temple. And we actually got a tour all the way up to the very top, the 34th floor, and it was used as power generation. And so it was an amazing tour. So we'll see that, and yeah. So they've just been kind of.
What are they going to do? What are they going to do with all this footage then?
Say again?
What are they going to do with all the footage?
Oh, they're going to put it all together into a feature-length doc, and then we'll see. See what they do with it.
€3. €3.10 per wave.
Say again?
€3.10 per wave.
I heard temporal wave.
It's very slow here tonight. I was going to turn series up.
Oh, the connection.
There you go. I've turned series up. Speak series.
€3.10 per wave. €3.10.
Oh, €3 per wave. I see what you're saying. I think that's come down. I don't know what it is in euro usually, but I think everything just came down last night, unfortunately. But it's coming back up. That's what it does.
All Bitcoin, I saw it, yeah.
All right. I think this is about it. I mean, yeah, the fee for me to transfer, there is a little fee, but it's like basically half a cent. So
yeah.
I can spot that for a number of things, and then if it gets too out of hand, then I'll probably put a time limit on it. But I'm hoping that, just by giving people this flat Earth coin, we can start getting into the idea and start, really start working with it, because theoretically, we could just decide that that we want to use something like this as an alternative, at least within our own community. So So whenever someone does something for someone else, let's use these currencies to exchange and transact, and that way we're not supporting the fiat systems of corruption, and we are starting to support our own solutions that are alternatives. And this is just the beginning. We do this now, we grow it. I'll develop these other coins and the Project Lumen and all the initiatives underneath Project Lumen, and it's baby steps in the beginning, but we will get there. And I should have just sent that to you, Siri, so you may have received it.
3 million?
That's right. Well,
what?
you're a power player, so I wanted to make sure that you feel respected and honored in that. And so there you go. And yeah, like if other people, just my Facebook friends, just come, I might not give them that much, but yeah, I'm being pretty generous with the flat Earth coin. I currently have 92 billion of them, so I got a lot to go around.
Okay.
So
Don't
again,
spend it all in one place.
No. Damn. That's 9 million euro.
Well, no, I mean that's if. I mean, right now I have it on the market. The price for it is very low. It's less than 1 penny per. I forget how much I had it on there, but and no one's bought any yet. But hopefully that'll change as we get this kind of moving around. So yeah, Sirius, you can give that to anyone. You know, we can just let's get this party started.
and I'll put it back in the chat room. But which one, which link do you want me to put in the chat room for people to sign up for their Aaron?
The Waves platform I sent to you. It's the one that says Waves.
Yeah,
platform.
you did. Okay, could you send it again and I'll put it back in the chat room?
All right. There you go.
So as I'm picking this up to go in the chat room, just explain to people again what this is about, so that when they see it, they know, because they're a couple of minutes behind us. Okay,
so you go to Waves platform. Now, what that is a wallet. It's a cryptocurrency wallet. You have to install it. Basically, it connects to Google Chrome. It's pretty easy. Once you install it, then you find your address and you send me your address, your Waves address, and then I will send you some flat Earth coin. You can send it to me through Facebook or I guess, yeah, at this point, let's just try to focus on Facebook so I'm not getting inundated from all these places. But
Facebook, who's on Facebook in here, who goes to platform wavesplatform.com, Aaron will give you a free coin. Let's see.
Quite a few of them, probably. I'll give you quite a few free ones. Because, yeah, I want to spread this. I'm the Flat Earth Fed over here.
I've just put it back in the chat room again. So I've put it out a few times for people. And it's really nice that, that you've got so much enthusiasm, to be honest, Aaron.
Thanks. Yeah, it's nice. Honestly, the reason this has all been coming up for me is because I've been a loner my whole life, doing these kinds of things, looking into these sorts of things. And since I found Flat Earth communities, all that has changed. I'm meeting people of like mind. I'm actually starting to be able to connect with people and relate to people. And because of that, it's just, my passion to change the world has been rekindled. And here I am. I'm really, I've always been driven to do that. I guess I just kind of allowed myself to get bogged down by the same, the lies. The lies can be very heavy, and they can just weigh us down and make us believe that we're just these insignificant nothings. Turns out, no, divine incarnate.
Need to wait on something before I can do anything with it or so?
With the flat Earth, it might take a little bit of time for it to get verified that it's been transferred over to you.
Oh yeah, yeah. I can see that it is transferred, but oh yeah. So I still have to wait for the verification.
Yeah.
Normally, I would see it after the verification.
Right.
I mean, this is what Sun and Moon was about a bit. You know, it was about trying to get as many people as possible to research or to come and listen or to be a part of it, because we were also fed up so far on Facebook.
Right.
You know, all that infighting and arguing and what they've done to it. So there's another reason we probably came over to the Hangouts at the right time, if you understand what I mean, because but the whole point was to try and bring our community together.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think even a lot of that drama has been incited by probably disinformation agents or who knows what, because there has been a lot of infighting and drama. It seems like, I don't know, I've been doing this for a few years, and it seems like there's like a cycle, whereas every year there's like some phase of all this drama, and then we get over it. But yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons I like you guys, because you know you're not about drama. Try to avoid it, and I appreciate that, because that's how we need to be in order to really move forward and be productive. You know, we can't just be getting lost on these little nitpicky things. I think, like, regarding the model, it's like, well, we don't know what the model is. No one can really honestly claim that they know for sure what it is. So this is a process. This is an explorative process, and it has to be that way. And we have to check our egos at the door and be willing to just hear each other out. And you know, because the whole reason we got into this problem in the first place is by making assumptions. You know, we assumed that we were on a spinning ball. We assumed that the sun was the center of the universe or our solar system, and that assumption has really paid. We've paid for that assumption, and there's a lot of other assumptions that we've made. Really, most of science, I would say, is based on these fundamental assumptions, which aren't necessarily valid. Some of them are, but even if they are, they need to be scrutinized and tested to a degree where now this is real science. You know, we're not just teaching pseudoscience as real science, which is what's been going on for maybe 100 years now, at least.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you realise that we're researching and Series has been doing like masses of work for months. But
yeah, no, I mean,
it's not. It's just, it's about everything, isn't it? It's about, it doesn't cover NASA, for instance.
Right.
You know, we're looking more.
Yeah, there's other people who've been diving into NASA, even just the geoengineering specifically. Even like Lavana's been doing a lot with the geoengineering and the patents, these patents that NASA has that are, you know, showing that it's been working with geoengineering technologies. Now, you know, that was outlawed. It was outlawed by the Geneva Convention, at the Geneva Convention, I think it was 1978. So, you know, basically by NASA continuing to do geoengineering is breaking the law that the world had come to an agreement upon. And so, yeah, so there's different initiatives that people have been taking on their own. And you know, it's good. It's like, Sirius, you should keep on doing what you're doing, because you're doing great and you're giving us so much data and information. And then the journal of the Sun and Moon Group is great because it's been giving us so much information. And you know, we should continue those initiatives, and then all the initiatives to kind of build a case against NASA, that needs to continue as well. Build a case against the Fed, that needs to continue as well. To build the alternatives, you know, those are almost like separate initiatives that we need to be doing simultaneously, where we're building a case against NASA, but then we're building our research division. You know, we're building a case against the Fed, but then we're building our alternative currency system here. And we're just doing all these simultaneously, starting at the crawl, and then we're walking, and we're building our group bigger, and eventually we're going to get there. Eventually we will dissolve NASA, we'll dissolve the Fed, and we'll have a system that not just the US will be using, the entire world will be able to use this. And so because of that, we'll be able to, like, you know, remove these power structures out of all these countries. And then we'll say, well, what's really going on in North Korea, for example? You know, what's really going on? Because we don't know what's going on. We don't have straight answers because we know that we cannot trust the authorities and the news and media sources that are being fed to us right now.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just looking at something. So to get in touch with you at the moment.
So what the best way? You know, I'll just give my. Let's see now. Actually, what should I do? I mean, I guess you mean like if you're not on Facebook. I mean, my YouTube is also the same. I mean, there's, you know, you could contact me through.
Give me your YouTube channel. Give me a YouTube channel.
It's just Aaron Krieshok, which is just my name. So.
Oh, okay.
And it's the same with Facebook. So if you just have my name, I'll just put it on here again for you. If you just want to post that to the chat, you know, you can find me through YouTube with that, through Facebook with that, and you know, I still intend to come out with some YouTube channel kind of stuff, but I've been trying to figure out exactly how I want to do that and do things. And so I started making some stuff, but I'm, you know, it's a process. So as you do know. But yeah, I mean, and I guess if they can't find me through that, then you can, you know, maybe you can just route people. I don't know.
Yeah, I've just put you back in the chat room, and Series has also done it as well. He's put the whole link in. Well, it's really nice to actually be talking about coming together than rather all this talk about splitting up and all that crap.
Mm-hmm.
Fed up of it.
I agree.
You know, loads of people want to put us in the middle of drama. It's horrible.
Right.
We don't want that anymore. That's not what we're about. We're not here to play games or do drama. We're here to try and research.
Right.
Okay, and to talk to people like you, Aaron.
Absolutely. And I think there's a lot of people that want this, that want what you just said. They don't want the drama. They just want to come together. They, you know, we didn't find this truth so that we could all become separated. I mean, it's the opposite. We found this. We were exploring the truth so we could find some answers. You know, and I think part of that answer is to come together. You know, and come to an agreement that, yeah, we don't know. We've all been lied to. You know, it's not that. It's, you know, we can't have any division. Division is completely the wrong avenue to go, and I think anyone who is pushing division should be avoided. And anyone who is kind of more talking about coming together, that's what we need to do. And join them. You know, get on their side. If they're talking about coming together, then let's you know, bring them into this, or you know, we come into them and we can all work together. There's no reason why we can't. And I feel very strongly about that. I know a lot of people do. So all you people that feel strongly about that, come together. Let's do this. Let's do this right now. There's no reason to wait. There's no reason to be afraid. There's no reason to, you know, just like put off even like reaching out to any one of us. You know, if it's not me, reach out to Karen or reach out to Mark or, you know, anyone. And I'm connected with all these guys. You know, and I'm trying to get everyone on board as much as I can. All the big YouTube flat earthers, all the big Facebook people, you know, I'm trying to get everyone on the same page. And I know that they all want it, really. They all want it, because this is what's going to really, I think, take this this movement to the next level. Where now, you know, we've been coming out with the truth. We've all been a little like questioning this over the last couple of years. And now I think we have a lot of confidence, a lot of evidence, a whole case to support what we're claiming, and let's just take that and move forward with it. Let's just come together, singular visions, and take the action necessary. please.
Sounds good to me.
Awesome. Well, I don't know, does anyone have any other ideas, questions?
Back in the chat room. Oh, series, go on, series.
I'm looking at the numbers, and am I really looking at the right numbers? I mean, if I exchange this for tetradollars, it's 8.8 million.
Say that again.
8.8 million tetradollar.
Petrodollar, is that what you're saying?
If I do an exchange.
Oh, for your flat Earth coin?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I hope not. No, I don't think so. Well, are you looking on the exchange? On the Waves exchange? Is that what you're looking at?
Some exchange who actually accepts Waves.
Oh, well, for Waves, yes. But on the Waves exchange, so Waves is a certain value of its own, and Waves is sort of the
Bitcoin and a Bitcoin exchange for the tetradollar.
Right. Yeah, I don't know what the price is right now, but yeah, it's about there for Waves. But I didn't send you millions of Waves. I sent you millions of flat Earth coin, which I made with Waves.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ah. But
I'd ask for you to send some of it back if that were.
What is that Wave?
Wave, you know, the Waves coin is like it's the blockchain technology that allows you to make your own tokens pretty easily. And so that's what I did to create Flat Earth coin. And then I'm going to build another coin that will be Iron coin that ultimately will not be Waves. It'll be its own software.
Kind of subcoin in that sense. The subcoin of the Wave principle in that sense. The Wave machine.
Right.
Same as Ethereum is a kind of base for others.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's actually built on Ethereum. It's similar to Ethereum, but it's enabling people to make their own sub coins much more easily. So I can make it now in 5 minutes rather than having to wait until I've built my own Ether coin.
Hey, guess what? Artist has just put in the chat room that Series is now a millionaire, and he says now Karen has a boyfriend who's a millionaire.
There we go. Congratulations, both of you.
Thank you. Thanks, Series.
Okay, how do I send them back? In the Waves, or I don't have the.
Yeah, the Waves wallet. The Waves wallet, you can send and receive coin.
Yeah, that's only. Because the wallet has US dollar, Euro, Bitcoins, Ethereum, and the Waves. It's different coins, but the transaction is done in units of Wave with the name Flat Earth coin.
Right. So you see your Flat Earth coin in Waves value. Is that what you're saying?
What I see. I see only the fee is 0.001 Waves, and then units is 3 million.
Right. Okay. So if you wanted to sell it, you're looking at like on the exchange. If you want to sell it,
look what I can make more of it.
Well, you could buy it. You could buy some. I have some available if you're interested. Let's see here, Flat Earth coin. So if you go up to where it says in the exchange part, if you go up to where it says Waves to Bitcoin, and you change Waves to type in Flat Earth coin. Now currently, because it's not being traded, it won't show you the actual title, so you just hit the number. And then that'll show how much Flat Earth coin is in the market. And right now I just have a single order for, I put up 10 million available for sale, and the price is 0.000025 Bitcoin, which I think comes out to about, it's like maybe a small, like a tenth of a cent or something like that. And so It might be a little more now that Bitcoin's dropping. Usually.
Yeah, I don't see like that it is a particular flat Earth coin. That you have.
It is a little hard. You know what I'll do? I'll make a video. I'll make a video showing how to do this, and I'll put it on Project Lumen because it is a little complicated for sure. So, and I want to make sure people know how to do it, and I don't want to have to explain to everybody how to do it. And so I'll make a video. Try to get that up tonight just to explain how.
Aaron, would you like to make your video back on Sun and Moon and play the video, and then you can talk about it on here as well? Again, you know, make the video, play the video on Sun and Moon so people can see it.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
And talk about.
I mean,
yeah.
It's then only between Wave wallets that you can exchange these coins, but then how do you select the flat Earth coin?
Well, you should be able to type it in, and you won't see the name, but you'll have to select. So you type in flat Earth coin, and then it'll give you an option. That's why it's a little confusing. I don't know if that's a bug in their system or if they're doing that on purpose because it hasn't been traded yet. I think once it starts being traded, then it'll actually show up in the markets. So that anybody that just creates any coin won't just show up in the markets until it's actually being traded.
BTC is doing at least the Wave coins.
Say that again.
Hit BTC is an exchange what exchanges waves, but I don't.
Oh.
But sure.
Right. If you actually wanted to, well, you can exchange it for Bitcoin too.
Yeah, and a Bitcoin. And
that's where I have it right now. I have it exchangeable for Bitcoin. So I think that's the only, you'd have to do flat Earth coin to Bitcoin. You have to go to that market, and then you can see it. You should be able to see it.
Yeah. So far, I see only waves to others, and others to others, and others to waves.
Right. Let me just do this video and put it together so that I can just walk everyone through it. Because I guess it is a little confusing, especially trying to describe it without looking at it. I mean, I could just share my screen and walk and show what I'm talking about.
Go on then, do it.
All right, let's do it. Let's see here. Screen share.
I'm going to present you.
Oh goodness. Infinite loop. All right, so there's waves.
Presenting, yeah.
And then here it is. So yeah, I'll just walk. So you go to wavesplatform.com.
Yeah.
And
get client.
Get client. That's going to take you over to Google Chrome App Store. It'll say install or something, and then once you've installed it, you can launch it. And then I've already got it launched here. Oops. So then when you first open it, you'll see something like this. And then, so this is your main wallet. You got the portfolio showing you all the coins you have. And then here's the exchange. So the third one is the exchange. And so now it's going from waves to Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And so what I'll do is I'll just change this waves and I'll just type in flat Earth coin. So flat Earth. So now right there, just for fun, you can see that these are also flat Earth things, but not mine. So that's why you want to type in flat Earth coin and then click on it. So you won't see it yet. And then there you go. And so then, you know, you can, and there's the order that I've already put. So series, if you put, if you made another order to sell, then that would should show up right down here.
Yeah.
If you made an order to buy, then that should show up right here. If you wanted to buy it at this rate, at this 0.0000025 Bitcoin, then you could go ahead and buy it, and it would pull out of this 10 million that I have on the market right now. So yeah, if anyone's interested in getting some flat Earth coin, then just follow this easy, simple guide. There you go. And so then, and if they want to just get some for free, just you would open this up, and you would just grab this address right here. I guess if you just click on it, it copies it to the clipboard, and then you just send me that address, and I will send you some flat Earth coin. Any questions on that?
No, yeah, I didn't.
Is there any question?
Just could simply type the name.
Say again?
Yeah, I didn't know I could just simply type the name.
Right. And so that's a little confusing part. And the other confusing part is that you won't see it. I'll do that again just so you can all see when I type flat. And you have to, I don't know if you have to use caps. Let me see here. If I just type flat Earth, I guess it works without caps. But I can't see the title here. That's because it's not really a popular coin yet. So let's make it popular so we can see the title there. But then you just click on it, and then it'll show up. And if you wanted to trade it for something else, like Ethereum, you could also do that. See how the name shows up because it's a validated coin. And so then you can see I haven't placed an order for this. So you could buy some flat Earth coin with Ethereum as well if you have some of that, or many others. Or I think you can even do, let's see here, you can put fiat into this, pretty sure, yeah. So US dollar, euro deposit. So if I were to actually try to deposit into this, you'd have to follow this, which I haven't done. But if, we do not accept international wire. Okay. Yeah, so, and that's a way if you wanted to buy some of this, we have the, there's also the Zeta coin, and then the iron coin, which these are both, these are going to be much better coins in the future. They're going to be much more functional. They're going to do a lot more. All these things we've been talking about. And so if you're interested in this, then what you can do is you can come to this wallet, you can, get some Bitcoin, and then you can buy some Zeta coin to basically help this initiative. And all this funding will basically go towards these projects. And I'll be completely transparent with it all. So I'll show exactly how all the money is being used, and as well as once we have the plans in place, how we plan for it being used. And like I said, this is going to be an autonomous or a decentralized autonomous organization. And so, ultimately there will be a whole sort of circle or council that will be running these projects, deciding how to ultimately proceed and make them happen. And so for that reason alone as well, you can trust that you're not just giving money to me. You're also helping with these initiatives, and these initiatives will be run by a collective in the grand scheme of things. Any other questions?
I think the chat room are just happy that you've been explaining it.
Good.
Are you still going to make a little video, Aaron? You can just do it again through the video,
Yeah,
make the video.
I'll do a little walkthrough and put it on just Project Lumen.
You can come back and we can do that on Sun and Moon.
I can do it on, I'll do that on Sun and Moon if you want. That's fine. All right, I'm going. Does anyone else want to see anything?
You've done really well, Aaron. You've been going for 2 hours. You've done really well.
Thank you.
what everybody does. I mean, you obviously don't mind going in front of cameras now, do you? As you're being followed, but you know, it's not for everybody standing in front of a camera. And you've just been going for 2 hours, so that's really good.
Yeah,
Thank you for.
I've been getting a lot of practice lately. But no, I'm actually extremely introverted, just so you all know. So this has been the last couple of years. I've been kind of pushing myself to do more things out in the public's eye. So here I am.
I remember doing it all seems fine. You think, oh, I'm going to do a hangout. And then you sit there just before you go live and you go, gulp.
Yeah, no, I wasn't really that prepared for this today. So, you know, it's good that I had some stuff to talk about. It all kind of flowed rather than just me looking at the camera, blank stare the whole time. That would have been awkward.
No, you've done really well. And also, you know, I mean, I've known you as a Facebook friend for a while, and we've had chit chats over the time, but
yeah,
we had long chats together. But everybody can see me, Sun and Moon and Aaron are friends because we want to move things forward.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, and anyone else who really wants to be on this train, you're welcome. And, you know, reach out to me or Karen, and let's do this.
You have started today by telling people all about the fact that, you know, there's this, it's called, explain what the website is for the actual bit that you want to move forward, because you've been talking about money things. It's called
Project Lumen. Project Lumen. Lumen, if you don't know, is Latin for light, and it's kind of a double meaning because it's Project Lumen, as in projects that we're going to get done, but it's also Project Lumen. So we're projecting light into our future, into the world itself, and so that's kind of the overall the name. And then the website is projectlumen.org or .com, actually, either one of them. And but I'm going to go with .org because it's an organization, and it's not commercial. And so the basic idea is that we're going to be organizing initiatives to wake up the masses, to counter the corrupt forces that have been imposed upon us, and we will be organizing. We will be coming together, uniting, sharing, and really collaborating, and creating solutions to some of these problems while simultaneously creating or organizing against some of these forces, some of these evil forces that we must take down. And so that's the basic synopsis, I'd say.
Yeah, it's good to see someone with some energy. Good energy.
It's good to have good energy.
Sometimes you feel a bit stuck in all this, you know, because like we're saying, Facebook's done a sort of death.
Mm-hmm.
We're sort of kept on here on the Hangouts, coming together. I just wish it was going to happen quicker. And then comes Aaron.
Yeah, and that's something I really want to stress too, is the timing of all this. It doesn't have to take a long time, you know. We could really move forward quickly with this. I intend to. I want to. And, you know, who knows? I don't really want to put any predictions on it, but I just really do feel that if we, like, as of today, let's just proceed forward and let's see what happens. And I think that there's no reason to think that this has to take years, even, you know, weeks, months. Let's do it.
Yeah, it has to start somewhere. The truth has to start somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Just giving us another opportunity to move this forward. And, you know, like even though we were talking about you wanted to get away, but our phones, they've got GPS, which is a good thing in a way, but it's not, because now they can track you.
Right. Right, because it's a violation of our privacy. And these technologies are available without the violation of our privacy. So that's a really important part, I think, of what we should implement of these solutions that now are ensuring our privacy and our security, along with enabling us to get these projects done and make progress in society in general.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're trusting Google with everything, which we don't want to do at all, really. Sorry, Google, but I'm not sorry.
Well, I think that what it is that Google do have everything. Lie about it to make the globe.
To make the globe.
They make the globe, but they've got all, they know what we're living in. They loop everything. They loop it.
Yeah.
In.
Oh yeah. And now they take you do the search, and they show like the most indoctrinated summary at the first result of every search. You know, it's like that's not the truth. They're not giving me the answer to my question. They're just feeding me exactly what the narrative is that they're trying to feed everyone. And you know, I use DuckDuckGo for most of my searches, unless I'm scrutinizing Google's search engine, which I do often as well. But usually, to be legitimate, I use DuckDuckGo for searching.
Mm.
And that's another thing too that I'll be including with this stuff is there's a lot of solutions we have right now. I mean, just Bitcoin in general. Like I'm talking about all these coins that I'm working on, but just like right now, Bitcoin is a very viable alternative. It does work. It is secure. It is private for the most part, and we can use it right now. And so, and that's just one. Then, like I said, DuckDuckGo, and there's a lot of other things. There's ways like Twitch that we could be using instead of Hangout. We could be using Twitch, or we could use. There's Telegram. There's a lot of decentralized platforms that we could be using for a lot of things. For all of these things, where we don't then have to be relying on Google anything or Facebook anything, and we're just using Google and Facebook as the vehicles of getting these messages out there, which they are good for. They're good for connecting with people and finding people and sharing our views. That's all they should be for, And then we sort of collect more and more of this information and wisdom teachings all back into a central platform, some sort of wiki that then allows us to have a one place to go, where now here's where all the information can be found, and there's not even a question of where you send someone that has questions. We just send them right here because we've all collectively been working on collecting this information into one place, and it's been refined. And we've been honest with ourselves, and we've had a few debates where, well, what about this? What about this? And we have to do that so that we can come to agreement. Well, okay, let's just agree that we don't know. And so both these models are valid to some degree. Let's move on, until some other evidence comes up, and then it's pointed at this model more than this model, etc. But that's a process. That's a scientific process. It's even kind of like how projects are done nowadays. There's this thing called agile, which is a buzzword that's used a lot in project management and startup applications, where you're basically you're adapting. You're adapting to things that come. You're not just trying to go straight to this finish line, but instead you're adapting to as maybe, this new challenge arises, and now this whole part is going to take longer. And so we need to push this part off further. We're adapting to the scenario, and we're constantly refining, iterating, as opposed to just okay, here it is, it's done, and this is it, and we're just going to have this one piece of software for the next 20 years. Which is pretty common actually. Some of these platforms. I mean, Facebook was made ages ago. YouTube was made ages ago, and it hasn't changed. They just put a new skin on it, but it's still the same thing. And so, a lot of these techniques can be utilized where we can really refine our understanding of the truth, our understanding of various things, And this process, I mean, this process itself will refine. You know, and this is part of why we need a council, a sort of committee that's central to it all, because there do need to be a few leaders that stand up in the beginning to really form these ideas. But then once it's running, once it's sort of an entity of its own, we won't really need to do as much, because it will just kind of operate on its own. And the truth will be found, the truth will be refined, whatever that truth is. Whether it's even just, you know, a project, one of these projects, the coin. You know, I have a certain number of ideas about what I think would be best for a coin, but I know Siri's has been working on it. Your roommate's been working on it. Let's all work together on this. You know, I'm not trying to work in a bubble here. I want to work with others on this and hear the other ideas, and let's all just throw these things around, and let's form a committee that's going to form this coin, for example. You know, and that's just one initiative of all these initiatives. So really, yeah, I think Project Lumen can really be the one name that we can use for now, where we can all focus. We can all agree that, you know, this is like a place where you can find everything else. You know, we'll have Sun and Moon Group linked to from there.
He's asked his email address.
Say it again.
FFM is asking for an email address.
Okay. Yeah, it's just A Krieshok, so A, my last name.
Send it on here. I'll put it on the chat room. It's best because it's just best if you write it in the chat and I'll send it to them.
I'll just do my Project Lumen actually. No. There you go.
For anybody who wants any questions and to ask anything else, I'm just putting Aaron's email address into the chat room.
In case anyone was wondering about my shirt, I'll stand back so you can see.
Yes.
Because these guys are going down.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Biggest crooks of all time.
It's fine when you see the people walking around in flat Earth t-shirts or down with NASA. It must be happening.
Oh yeah, it's starting to happen. You know, but still, I see a plethora of NASA shirts all the time. It's kind of maddening. So that's also happening. The counter force is also happening, which is why we just need to, you know, really be active right now, and just, you know, we can't just be sitting back and watching this happen. We just need to participate. We need to be active so that we're creating a force to be reckoned with. We're creating something that now NASA has a challenge. Now the Fed has a challenge. You know, yeah, they're not going to give in right away. That's for sure. But we keep on putting the pressure on. They will buckle eventually, or they'll just buckle because the society has come to the realization that they are corrupt, and maybe we'll help with that.
Well, yeah, that in a way, I don't know. Is it like we turn our backs on them or something? Is that what we have to do? Just like the Emperor's clothes, like the story, backs on them and just do our own thing.
I don't know how we would boycott NASA, because, you know, it's like, oh, we're not going to space now. Well, they weren't going to let us go to space anyway. So I don't know. I mean, I guess.
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll stick them all on the rocket. They can all go first.
Right in the ocean.
Yeah, they can go up and come down.
Yep.
Series, can I just ask you something? You put a link in the chat room. He had. What was that about? Just it was at the beginning of the hangout.
Oh, that was the messenger. The proxy sent a messenger, what was kind of Facebook-like.
The Gab, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, the Gab. They have also an app you can download on your phone.
Yeah, my issue with that one is that I use the computer mostly, so I don't really use my phone for this stuff like that.
It's both.
Oh, it does have a web app?
Yeah, they just have a download for an app as well.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll look into it. Yeah, and we can talk about the social network side of things. I think I've seen that's it's an important initiative that needs to happen, but it might not be
Is
right
it going to
now.
have a chat room on it? Is it
Yeah.
going to have a chat on it as well?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I figure like what we would ideally have is a live stream, kind of like what we're doing here. The ability for people to upload their own videos, just similar to YouTube. Have actual chat, the ability for people to make posts, be able to comment on posts. I think those fundamentals, then we have ourselves a viable alternative to Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah, kind of all in one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all you want to say tonight, Aaron, or do you want to just carry on a bit more with just talking a little bit more about this whole thing?
I think I feel like I've said it all for right now, at least. I'd be very curious. I mean, I guess if anyone has any questions or they want to talk to me about any of this stuff, get a hold of me through any of those channels. And I guess we should set up maybe another time to meet.
Yeah, I think you should come back next week, Aaron.
Okay. Same time? Same bat time? Bat channel?
I think you should come back next week because there's no time like the present.
Right. Sounds good. Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I'll be pretty active this week. So, hopefully I can have a lot more to show and tell for next week.
I wonder,
Cool.
if you ask me if I want to do anything, I need actually waves because the fees are in waves.
Yeah, everything's in waves.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. So and that's a good point. Actually, I need to write that down. I'll go over that. You do need to get some waves. Actually, very good point. If you want to actually send anything,
I think we're all going in the same direction because obviously we've been a square flat Earth group from the beginning, but it was apparent when Chris started to really look into this and research things and work in it. Now ourselves, we're a square Earth because everything is in waves. Isn't it, series?
So far I've figured out how to actually get magnetical data, and I'm trying to put it in a three-dimensional perspective.
And that's what you're looking at on Sirius's picture.
The purple is the south, and that's actually above land, and then north is below land, it seems.
Hmm.
And then exactly in the middle it switches.
Interesting. How did you get the magnetic data?
Through a particular program, what uses the, what is it? WMM 2015 data.
I see.
I'm not sure whose it is, etc. But a program what I can feed GPS locations and altitudes, and then get data out of that particular position. And as I have actually the true XY grid from the photographic dimensions, I'm putting this in the photographic dimension.
So you're going to line it up with all the Google Earth stuff you've been doing.
Yeah, this is just with the triple square.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Normal map I have. This is then 1,000 kilometers high.
Wow.
And if I put it in true perspective, it's This is 1,000 kilometers compared to 40,000 wide and 120 long.
And that's 3 of the maps or whatever that you said? Or is that just one map?
Yeah, this is one map. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The middle square is the UTM square in Google Maps itself.
I see. Huh.
I haven't put in the map itself yet.
Yeah.
So much only these lines. It's just heavy load.
Right.
This is just level 7, and level 8 is already, what is it, over 600 megabytes.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a lot of time to actually import.
It's really strange with this whole flat Earth thing because, you know, as far as Ceres is concerned, with everything he's looking at, we're pretty sort of, well, that shape there. But everything else around it is a circle. Your perspective, the toroidal fields, the skies, is a circle.
Right.
But the land isn't.
Hmm.
That's our journey. So we've been going for 2 hours, 20 minutes. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about, Aaron? I know it's a very deep subject, what you've been talking about. I mean, you know, what you're doing, it's obviously lots of, like series is constantly downloading, like you're now constantly planning.
Right. Yeah, I'm downloading too, just different format.
Very quickly then, with all this weather that happened around the Americas, it was a bit like seas retracting and all that, which now a lot of flat earthers are looking into, you know, Mike Helmick, FPV. We did a hangout about this. I made a video about it, the disappearing seas, which came back within 48 hours. No tsunamis. About America last weekend. I thought an angle grinder was going to come through.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't quite like that after all, was it?
No, I think it was just, you know, they're trying to get us afraid. They're trying to get us all just completely lost in fear. And that's why they're pushing all the storms on the news so huge. And then I think there's a component where they're using the geoengineering technology for sure, but then they can't create a full hurricane with that. They can't create a massive storm. They might not even be able to create a massive earthquake. What happens is, I think they put that in the fear, the mass consciousness. They start really pumping it full of fear, and we generate it. We make it worse. We make it huge. And I think that first Harvey, I think that's what happened, was it was so big because people were so afraid of it. But now I think people are wising up. I think people are smarting and getting smarter, realizing a lot of this, and so now it's not as impactful. So they're trying to now just pretend like the storms are bigger than they actually are.
I think most people believe that they were natural to start with. They just manipulated everything and are playing their games. Yeah,
I think Lavana was just telling me that, like, if you look in the history, like before 1900 or even mid 1900s, there was like no hurricanes, like maybe one hurricane every 100 years or something. But we've had a hurricane like every year lately, or multiple. So I mean, how's that? Well, are they natural? You know, yeah, I forget exactly what we talked about.
If tornadoes, then places like India and that don't get their monsoons. Here and that get their monsoons and everything. You don't get the tornadoes. I thought it's a bit of a pull and push on that.
Huh? Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Kansas, you know, where we had all the tornadoes, and I saw a few of them, but I don't know. I mean, those seem pretty natural, but I guess it all seems natural, right?
Do you think that it's just that with more people becoming aware of everything, that it's just, that's what makes it more frightening, because you know what they're doing. They're messing around with our lives. They're using weather. They're doing all these things. And, you know, like when you go up in an aeroplane, those clouds aren't miles up in the sky. They may be quarter of a mile or something, if that.
Right. Well,
they're happening right above everybody's heads.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. And the people that say there's no chemtrails, you know, that's ridiculous. So ridiculous. And that shows you how asleep people have been. If they really think there's no chemtrails is a ridiculous idea or something, you know, when it's just, it's right there, right there. Look up.
Well, they were doing something, because there's been so many chemtrails, and then there's been so many fires, and we think it's all to do with the barium or whatever. So they needed that on the surface. And then, you know, we found, like, FPV found that, you know, he's trying to find more information for now. But a few weeks ago, these waves were going across the sea, quite big waves.
Yeah.
So a couple of weeks ago, Africa started getting masses of flooding, whether it was rain or sea.
Mm-hmm.
They were gearing it up. I'm sure they were. They've been gearing this whole thing up.
Oh, yeah. No, they've been planning this for quite a while. I mean, I think the globe deception maybe has really taken speed in the last 100 years. But I'm pretty sure they've been planning this maybe for the last 400 years. I think they've been developing these technologies even. You know, I think a lot of this stuff is not new. It's just that they have been gradually introducing us to these technologies, whereas it's possible that, you know,
right. You're right. They've been going nuclear, this, that, all that way. We needed to have gone back.
Right, right. And we're still like primitive caveman, like we're still at war with each other. What? No, like why are we still at war with each other? It doesn't make any sense. We're evolved species. You know, that everyone I've ever met wanted peace and harmony on Earth. So why are we still at war at all? You know, and I think that's
I don't think it's the people who are fighting, though, is it, Aaron? It's not the people who are fighting.
Exactly. Exactly, and that's the truth that we know, and we really need to make help other people to realize this, because that's the fundamental reality, is that we're at war. People are dying right now, this very moment, that don't need to be. You know, money itself is this whole construct. The fiat dollar is it's unnecessary. It's an evil thing. It's an evil entity that needs to be stopped, and it's behind most.
Yeah, I mean, they're making us hate people.
Right.
Oh, making us hate them.
Yeah, they want us
and
to.
And then people go like, down with them and down with them.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's someone else's game.
Right. Divide and conquer. That's their motto.
But I think in the 60s, so then when they decided to make the globe and all that with NASA, then it was cowboy and western films. It was I remember as a kid thinking, oh, America. And more people, that's just totally changing now. We're the enemy. It's us.
Right. Right. Yeah. No, they've been
Not the people. I mean, our countries, not the people. The countries, not the people, but it's our countries.
People, we're the ones that are, you know, we're their enemy. That's how they see it. I mean, you know, they see us as the useless eaters. They see us as the cattle that needs to be herded and slaughtered ultimately. And, you know, I mean, really, there's a name for all of it.
Like?
One word.
You know what it's like?
It's called
army and everything. They have to become a group. So they take away everybody's individuality because they've got to be part of the group and they've got to stick in it.
Right.
They're sort of doing with society.
Right. Oh yeah, absolutely. They're doing it. And I think it all boils down to eugenics. I think they're, you know, the deep population agenda, the whole, even just the manipulation of, you might say, species, or, you know, at the species level, where they're trying to control humanity at that level. And, you know, that was always playing God, and it still is. And here's the result of it. You know, the cause and effect, we are living in the effect right now, which is that we are all slaves and we are all powerless against this ruling class. And, you know, it's not going to stop until we stop it, because the reality is they have no divine intrinsic right to be able to do this.
I know what they've done is they've said you're in the free Western society, but we're not. We're all slaves, and like we're in communism.
Yeah, I mean, you could go into a prison and you could just say the same thing. You're all free. You're all free in your minds, which is true. We are all free in our minds, but it's the body that we need to address. You know, because our bodies are enslaved. They've enslaved our bodies through the national systems that they've created. You know, the nationalism is really a disease, because there's no such thing as a national border. That's an illusion. It's an imagined thing. And so, you know, for them to claim that, oh yeah, it's our country versus your country, you know, that's complete lunacy right there. Because it doesn't make any sense. It's not intuitive. It's not logical. It's not rational. It's not kind or compassionate. And so what's happening is they're dividing and conquering. You know, sports is another place where they do it. You know, they divide everyone because you have your team. Now your team's going to win or lose, and now your fulfillment of your happiness is based on whether your team wins or loses. Which is complete arbitrary.
Yeah, and they're all earning millions of pounds or dollars and becoming gods.
Right. And I have so much of that, those you know, that money, that now I don't have to work, and so now I can tell people what to do. I have power over others. Now I'm letting that get to my head. The ego takes over, and you know, it's just this endless cycle, and it's only endless unless we end it. You know, it's like and here's our opportunity. And I say, we just stand up for what is right. We assert what we can do, which is a lot of things. We can do a lot of things here without their permission. We don't need their permission to make our own coin, to make our own system of governance. We don't need their permission. They never asked for our permission. We would have told them no. So let's just go ahead and do it ourselves. And now we can't go up against them with force, because that would just be stupid. They have a $600 billion military on their side. So instead, we just form our own thing, our own alternative that ideally will get to the point where these active military and veterans are joining our solution, because they see it as the answer for a peaceful society, as opposed to the military-industrial complex, which is what they thought was supposed to be protecting us and all this. And that goes for every country. That's not just the U.S. You know, every country has their military, and if those active military decided to let's join this other group, which is talking about peace for the entire world, instead of useless, unnecessary wars that are just making the rich richer, that are funded by both sides and are just all complete deceptions, you know, I think we'll be able to attract a lot of those people, because the great majority of all human beings are compassionate, understanding, loving people.
Television off, because that's how they've got you. That's how they're funny. Turn that telly off. What to think? You know, sometimes you'd like to, well, maybe watch the odd film, but just remember, you know, just don't watch it nearly all the time, because whatever's on there, you're being fed subliminal messages. You're going to turn the news on, and all that's going to be a lie.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, it's all lies. It's all manipulation. It's hypnosis, mass hypnosis. They're putting you into the trance state, probably with their high def, you know, televisions that vibrate, or refresh rate is a certain frequency to just put you right into that trance state. You slip in there, and then they're going to feed you the news.
Makes people zombies, that television.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you can't tell them to turn it off even, because they're zombified.
They're watching it all believe it's real.
What?
Sorry, the ones watching it all believe it's real.
Exactly. Yeah, so that's our greatest challenge, really. I think that we're up against. is how to get through.
I've got another plan for you then, Aaron. It's NASA and the news.
Ah.
You know, that part of it. We need to sort that bit out as well. The lying about the news and all that media,
Yep.
I mean, the media need to be sorted out as well.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, there is some truth in movies occasionally and TV shows, but most of it is pretty controlled. However, the news, I would almost just say, is completely controlled. It's just complete indoctrination, hypnosis. You know? So I agree. That's a great idea. I wrote that down. That's another initiative.
They tell you the truth. They show you things. I mean, maybe you don't like the truth, but they show it to you. Here, everything is censored. So they'll say things have happened, and then you're just seeing, you know, a boat overturned here and 12 people died. And whereas in Turkey, they show it to you. I know that maybe it's not nice to watch, but I'm just trying to say that you know more of the truth in all these other countries than you do in our own.
Right. Well, that's the same.
Can I just say something?
Go for it, Patricia.
No, about the television, it just reminded me of Coronation Street years ago when Deirdre Rashid, I think she was called then, she got put into prison or something, and there was a national outcry, free Deirdre and all this lot. But when it comes to like a different country, and you know, there's people being killed every day, no one really says anything. All right, we go, oh, but I know there is groups that will do stuff, but you know, we really need to take our power back. We need to all unite over one thing, and that's the problem. No one will agree on one thing.
Absolutely. I mean, that is a huge challenge that we face with all this, and that's why I am presenting this the way that I am, because I see it as we do need to agree on one thing, and maybe that one thing is just that we all want the same thing overall, and then through that, like, how do we specifically do all these specific detailed things? And you know, there's going to be differences of opinions, and so that's part of life and learning how to grow. Is you know, we need to hear each other out. We need to be willing to change ourselves and you know, change our own minds and be able to adapt and through that.
The biggest change you can make in yourself, because you've talked about it, Aaron, is the ego thing. Yeah,
and it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge for everyone. It's always a challenge. This is why we're, you know, part of being here in Earth is learning about the ego, learning about that aspect of self that thinks it's separate from everything else. You know, but at the same time, I think we've come far enough that, you know, it's about listening to the heart, to our heart.
Series will love this. Aaron, what you're doing is you're taking responsibility for yourself, which is what all this is about.
Absolutely. Yes, and with that responsibility, now I have the ability to respond to whatever comes my way, whatever comes our way, and we are doing that as a collective as well. We're saying, you know, just this group right here is saying, you know, we're taking some responsibility for the situation. You know, it's not. I'm not saying it's my fault or your fault, but here we are. We're all in the same world, and in order for us to be able to do something, we have to say that we have to agree, at least fundamentally, we have created this situation for ourselves, taking responsibility, and now we have the ability to respond. We have the ability to do something about it. But if we're just blaming it on all these other things, and therefore not really bringing it back home to how we have power to do something about it, then we're never going to do anything.
Yeah, the blame is just giving the responsibility to somebody else, and that's the whole thing we have done ages.
It's always passing the buck.
Yeah,
that's what's been happening, and even like the control structures, they've been doing that too. So none of them want to take responsibility for who originally started this force of deception. You know, because it was their ancestors. It wasn't me. It was, you know, my great-great-grandpappy.
I mean, like through our hangout last night and over the weekend with artists, you know, he's basically gone and researched the fact that electric cars were quite well known and were in force in 1910, 1920s. Obviously, this the First and Second World War ruined it, and then we, of course, we had petrol cars.
Right.
All set up, and like, what do you imagine what we could have had now as electric cars? Oh my goodness, it's so sad, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
For petrol.
I mean, we should have water-powered cars right now. We should have flying cars. We should maybe even have teleportation. Who knows what technology we should have right now? But we've been so repressed and held back for probably at least 50 to 60 years. At least.
Yeah.
You know, if not since the early 1900s.
And they're wanting you to watch something that's fake. It's all fake, and that's what they've got us watching.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, my biggest frustration is Elon Musk and the fact that he's considered a genius for some unknown reason, and all he really did was took the name Tesla of this amazing genius that really was a genius that no one knew about because they repressed that information, and then he calls his electric car company, which electric car was not his invention. He didn't even invent the car that he ended up using. All he did was just steal all these concepts, put a label on it, and now he's this big guy. You know, it's just like everyone treats him like he's this hero and this genius, and it really blows. That shows, to me, it shows like how easily people can be hypnotized into like just following this propaganda, you know, because he's nothing. He hasn't done anything. And he can't even talk well. Like, he goes on all these talk shows where he should have had something prepared, please. And he just can't. He just stumbles over his words, and he's just a babbling idiot. And people treat him like he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I don't understand it. I do. I understand it. It's just really frustrating, you know, because
is he rich now?
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, we've had electric cars. Come on. Oh, you can create a great, mostly overpriced electric car. Good for you. That makes you a genius? I don't know.
Rich.
Yeah.
This all play into the same hands within the family.
Just to realise that all we are is a bunch of sheep for someone else to play with.
Right.
They just want us as sheep because they don't want us with a imagination, individuality, consciousness.
Yeah.
And they just want us as a bunch of sheep which they can manipulate.
Exactly, and have power over. We're doing all the work for them, you know, and we're giving them all the tax money, but also we're just all the labor itself is producing a lot of resources that they're benefiting from.
Money itself presents only labor, and it's our labor they steal.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
It's not the money. The money itself is just a consensus of exchanging it.
Which they're also stealing the money. You know, I mean, I agree with you, but they're like doing both. They're stealing our labor, and and because of income tax, they're stealing our money from our labor, which was written in the Constitution to be unconstitutional. You're not supposed to tax the income. So they're violating that as well.
They can change whatever they want, though, can't they? Whenever they want.
Yep. They can amend the Constitution. That started out not the greatest, to be honest with you, but it's gotten worse, and now it's even getting worse as far as, you know, they just passed that warrantless search bill, and I think they probably got a lot more tricks up their sleeve for when the next natural disaster hits. What are they going to do in Congress? What are they going to pass in Congress next time?
It's basically the whole UCC happening in combination with the flag they fare under. They sail under. Flag, what is actually making their robbery legal because it's on the flag.
Right.
You know, it's the logo.
No, it's a talisman. It's a voodoo. It's a symbol of voodoo. I mean, they're using voodoo on us, and it's all, you know, that's all their geometries and symbolism they use. They're literally doing voodoo on us.
Like the skull and bones.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
So they've been using black magic for years, for centuries. So now it's time for us to really implement our understandings of white magic in opposition. And that's basically what we're doing here.
Trying to get rid of the black magic.
Well, we don't need to get rid of it. We just use our own. We use the white magic to outweigh it. A viable alternative that replaces it. Because they won't, white magic is much more powerful than black magic effectively. And so all we really need to do is just be sort of casting those spells and we win, and part of that is like, when we talk about the earth being flat, that is actually a sort of white magic spell right there because they've been casting all these spells for us not even to consider it. So we're going against all those. We're breaking those spells, and now we're able to cast our own spells, which is like what I'm saying right here, saying that to challenge NASA. Let's challenge NASA. Let's bring NASA down. I'm saying this on YouTube, owned by Google, owned by the CIA, same freaking company behind it all, and I'm telling them directly, we're taking you down because I'm not afraid of you. And that is white magic, because I am not afraid. I'm not pretending to not be afraid. I am actually not afraid because I understand reality. I understand that we are sovereign divine beings intrinsically, so there's no need to be afraid. And they can't really do anything to me. They can only spread propaganda and lies, and they can try to get people to not listen to me, but they can't actually do anything to me, because that would be, they don't have that power. They're not powerful enough, because they don't understand the divine phenomenon that's going on here. What was that?
The best thing for all of us is that NASA is shut down.
Well, the key here is that they need your consensus.
Exactly. There you go. Yeah, and they don't have mine, and that's what we need. That's our magic. Is like we can really help people realize that you're voting with your consensus. You're giving them that power through your consensus. So it's the removal of the consensus for one thing, but then the other thing is the alternatives. That then people have something else to put that consensus into. If we had a better social network than Facebook and YouTube, then the consensus would eventually turn into that, right? Like with Bitcoin, for example, I have a Visa card that allows me to spend directly from Bitcoin to US dollar. So at the moment of transaction, I'm converting it. So what that allows me to do is I'm participating in the societal system, but I'm not of it. I'm able to be using decentralized currencies that are not supported.
You've got to find a way of working it for you. In the system at the moment, the way it is, you've got to find the best way of making it work for you.
Right. Because I can't just not spend money or have money. But this way, at least I'm sort of like dipping my toe for a moment through the fiat. But when my money is sitting in the bank, it's not just going down like the US dollar. It's it is fluctuating quite a bit, but generally Bitcoin has been going up. I was buying it for $1,200 maybe just a year ago, and here we are. We hit $5,000 just last week. So it's basically it's better than any savings account. And it's actually a viable investment. It's actually better investment than gold lately. So that says something. That says that people are coming to a consensus that Bitcoin is valuable, and so for that reason alone, it's like this is a viable alternative that we could use immediately to counter this force.
And any businesses near it either. Nothing to do with businesses, all to do with the people.
Yeah, although
banks take everything over, don't they? Don't want any banks near it.
Right, and they're going to try, and they are trying, and they're mucking around with things, but there's a lot more good guys. Ultimately, there's a lot more good guys. And so, and Bitcoin's never been hacked. So, and as long as it doesn't ever get hacked, I don't see a reason why it would ever go anywhere but ultimately up in value. And for that reason, you know, people who are buying Bitcoin now might be very wealthy in a year or 2 years' time from that. You know, and there's a lot of coins that are coming out, and so it's just like, in many ways, this is a new opportunity for us to do something right now. You know, we don't have to wait. We don't have to. And I know there are a lot of people I've come across in the flat Earth community that don't understand Bitcoin. It suggests that maybe it's the mark of the beast, or that the Illuminati has created Bitcoin to you know, control us all. But the thing to understand about Bitcoin is that it's decentralized. And so what that means is that there's no central authority that can print more money whenever they want, like the Fed or any of the other central banks. There's no fractional reserve system where people are getting, you know, you can go get a loan, and as a bank, you can loan out 10 times more than what you actually have in store. No, that doesn't make any sense. It's a complete physical impossibility. You can't create energy from nothing. So how should you be able to create money from nothing? So Bitcoin doesn't allow that. Bitcoin, it's, you have however much amount of Bitcoin that you have, and that's in your account. And if you spend some of it, you don't have that much anymore. It's plain and simple, you know, and it works. That's the most important thing, is it works, and it continues to work, and so therefore it's growing in value very rapidly.
Cool. But I just ask you, the way they're doing things, like the dollar, the pound, euro, are all going to be the same.
What?
$1 is €1 is one.
You're kind of cutting out, I think. What are you asking?
I was just saying that, like, the dollar, the pound, and the euro, they're all becoming like one. A dollar is a pound is a euro.
Yeah.
Trying to bring the money down, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, that's what they want, because they want their one world currency to go along with their new world order. And so then people misunderstand that, like, oh, Bitcoin is that. They think Bitcoin is that, but really Bitcoin is the solution to that. It's the response to that. And so it's completely different. And they, you know, they're already implementing some cryptocurrencies like Ripple, for example. It's the crypto of the banksters. And so, you know, they're trying to create this, which is going to then, they would hope, would be the alternative to Bitcoin. So, and I wouldn't be surprised if they try to push something like that off as the one world currency that we're all going to use. Because I think, honestly, I think the U.S. economy is about to fall. I think it's about to crash just from things that are happening. And so if that were to happen, then problem, reaction, solution, right? They're going to come in, there's the problem, and then the reaction will be who knows what. The solution will be one world coin, one world currency. But that's not the solution. The real solution is Bitcoin. And so that's why us using Bitcoin and us starting to figure out how we can use Bitcoin right now is actually more of the solution for us to, like, stand up against this force as a collective, and not just on Flat Earth or Project Loom or anything, but just as the whole world collective. Let's all get into Bitcoin, you know, and Ether and all these other good things. But because then right there too is showing that, like, it's not just Bitcoin. There's other coins that are popping up, and so it's sort of like this capitalist. You could say it's sort of capitalist, where now anyone can create a coin, and it's based on the value and merit of that coin that it becomes valuable or not. And that's true, and so that's very good. It's like a healthy competition, so that way Bitcoin doesn't become the only cryptocurrency, and Ether doesn't become the only cryptocurrency. And they have to stay on their toes and continue to refine and develop and make things better. You know, Bitcoin just went through a huge process where they updated the fork, or yeah, we forked it, but it updated it basically. So it was a massive update to Bitcoin. And now for a decentralized organization to be able to organize itself, to update itself, is a massive deal. And it worked. It succeeded. Bitcoin was updated. And so there we go. Now it's a proof of concept. We have seen that we can improve upon this technology, even though there's no central organization that runs it. And so that's great. You know, essentially that means that we'll be able to continue doing that, continually improving upon it. And eventually I could see Bitcoin becoming the one coin, but that's because the people have chosen for that to be, not because the New World Order wants it to be. And essentially the main difference here is that Bitcoin allows each of us to have our own vault, our own bank. Literally, it's our own bank. Like I have my own bank. It's not, I don't have to go somewhere else for this bank. I don't have to entrust someone else that they're going to hold on to my money and give it to me in case something happens. You know, right now with the fiat, if the shit hits the fan, you know, who knows whether these big central banks are going to give us our money that we have in the banks. You know, I know during World War II, Hitler actually prevented some of the Rothschilds from even being able to access their central banks that were in Germany. You know, as an act of rebellion, and you know, saying no, I don't agree with the central banks, and so I'm not going to endorse it by allowing you to even have your money, because that's the power that he had at that point. Not to go down that road, but just kind of saying that, like,
it's all about the right to mint. Eh?
What?
The right to mint.
The right to mint?
Be the right to mint, and I don't care what the law of countries are.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Bank mode.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just say that we have been going for nearly 3 hours. Aaron, you've been going, you've been standing there, and you've done like this presentation, and you've been going for 3 hours. Do you think that this might be the time that maybe we paused it now because you're coming back?
We caused it now? I didn't follow. I didn't understand the question exactly.
Paused it. Hang out now because we've been going for nearly 3 hours.
Oh yeah, no, we can definitely close this out. I mean, more
close you out, but you're going to come back with a little video and explain it again, because you'll probably need to explain this again. You'll have to do it more than once.
Yeah, probably.
And just come back on soon and we'll talk about this again.
Okay. Sounds great.
So
well,
I think we're probably going to end the hangout now, guys. Aaron's done really well. Well done, Aaron.
Thank you.
And Patricia, series, you're coming back for a group hug. Series, Patricia. There's Tricia. Hello, series. There she is. Yay. So, group hug for everybody. Thank you so much, Aaron.
Yes,
He's coming back, which we'll arrange with Aaron in a minute.
all right.
Thank you, Patricia. And tomorrow night on Sun and Moon, about 9-10 o'clock, I think, we've got Patricia Steer with Thomas Thompson. We've got Martin Leakey. We've got Gary John, who's doing the convention next year. So we've got quite a busy hangout tomorrow, which will be listed for everybody to watch tomorrow. So see everybody tomorrow. Big hugs again for... And see you all tomorrow. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Love you all.